It was a day last September that left a bitter taste in the mouths of Saints fans and players. Their pursuit for the elusive second premiership after more than half a century of waiting was ended at the hands of the ruthless Giants. The Orange Tsunami sent tremors through the final series. They were just 2 points short of a grand final appearance, and the Tsunami has roared into 2024 with an unbeaten start. Today, a true test awaits Ross Lyon. Can he produce a coaching masterclass and shut down these Giants in the nation's capital? Starting in the midfield, two born and bred Canberra boys, Jack Steele and Tom Green. The Saints are out for revenge against the Giants at Manuka Oval. Good afternoon and welcome. 17 degrees, blue skies, beautiful scenes in Canberra. A very good afternoon to Jared Healy, the man who coined the phrase the Orange Tsunami, and Jack Revolt, the man who won a grand final against these Giants. Jack, it's been a tipster's nightmare so far. Can the Saints cause an upset here today?
It certainly has. I'm zipping too, and I think everyone here is probably zipping too as well. Look, recent meetings says that the Saints can cause an upset, but the most important one of those games there that we can see from the recent 5 meetings is that final last year where the Giants were awesome, and they have been awesome at the start of this year too. So look, I'm tipping the Giants, but certainly if the Saints turn up and play their best footy, they'll be right in this game today.
And here are the Saints running out onto Manuka Oval. Full house, 12,000, sell-out. 2 changes. Windhager back from suspension. He'll start straight in the midfield. And Jared, a debutant, their 4th for the year, Hugo Garcia to debut, the 18-year-old who's been given the nickname Surge because we've already got Sonny Garcia over at the Bulldogs in Riley Garcia.
Well, how appropriate given we've got the Masters on, and let's hope he's wearing the green jacket this afternoon.
First game jumper's probably a green jacket, isn't it?
It probably is.
To get that. I have no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that Brendan Goddard, who's down there as the assistant coach at the St Kilda Football Club, would have made sure his name was Surge.
Yes. Let's check in with Nick Dal Santo. He's on the boundary for us this afternoon, and he's got his former coach.
Thanks a lot, Cal. Ross, first of all, Hugo Garcia gets an opportunity today. How excited should we be as Saints supporters that he's going to deliver and give us something to look forward to for the future?
Yeah, well, he's part of that group over the last couple of years. So, look, he's a hard contest runner, works really hard without the ball, speed, endurance, anything for the team. So, yeah, hopefully we can inject him late.
You look at the opposition, they're in really good form. There's no other way to speak about the Giants at the moment. Is there a key area that you need to win today or control to hopefully get a good result?
Well, there's never one phase. It's all the threads. So, outnumber at the ball, brings some swarm heat. Certainly they just like to really go, so they give you opportunity with your front half pressure. So, and we need to spread them. I think there's some teams historically, if you can spread them and test their team defence, I think there's opportunities there.
We saw a game of 2 halves last week, a quiet start.
There's always 2 halves now, contrasting halves.
And a great response. What's been the conversation internally, and how do you get a better 4-quarter performance today?
Yeah, look, we still had opportunities. First half, we just slaughtered them. So it's just like execute your roles, really focus. So sometimes you can have effort without focus on roles. So bring the effort, but execute your piece, your part of the system, your role. Celebrate your role. So particularly start well. So, they obviously go to Hogan a bit, try and roll off there and support. They've got some great mids. They try to open up their stoppage. We don't want to be dictated to. So, yeah, we feel like we understand them, and we've gone to school when we beat them in our second half in the final, so we understand them a little bit better.
Appreciate your time. All the very best.
Cal. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Well, we love our Ross Lyonisms, and it is a tale of 2 halves. And, well, it was interesting looking over the Saints last week against the Tigers, that this was the first half. Contested possession smacked, clearance smacked, and a low pressure rating there of 172, which is well below the AFL average. So you look for answers. And I think Ross Lyon might have given it to us at the end of the game.
What happened? We actually landed a UFO in and walked out 22 aliens and put on the St Kilda jumper 23 and went out and played. So we flipped the team.
So the UFO was spotted over Norwood Oval last week and out-trotted the 22 Ross Lyon aliens, and it was a different performance in the second half of the Saints. One that they would like to show up today. 15+ contested possessions, 8+ clearances, and that pressure rating well over 200, which is an elite average for an AFL football club. And Ross certainly would have been happy with the performance in the second half today. So I'm looking at the skies, Kel.
Oh, no.
And Jared, where are the UFOs? What are we going to get today? Are we going to get the aliens rolling out that we know that can put the pressure on? Certainly in the second half last week, it was Marshall, Steele, and the addition to Windhager this week is an important one. So we'll be searching the skies to see if there's any extraterrestrial activity up there in the nation's capital.
Aliens in Canberra. Who would have thought, Jared? It's not the first time that's been proposed. Let's talk about Toby Green. So the Giants are unchanged for the last couple of weeks, and they go in with James Peatling as their sub, as they have for the last 2 games. They didn't need him the first 3 weeks, but they used their Toby card, their wild card last week against the Suns.
Indeed they did. He was absolutely superb. Had a couple of party tricks going. Some argue he was lucky to be playing, given he put a challenging tackle on, but he's been not in his best form, but he's red hot after last week.
Certainly is. Didn't even get charged for an incident involving Mac Andrew. But we're all set, ready to go in the nation's capital. Beautiful scenes. The Saints, can they continue what we've seen so far by Brisbane and Essendon and produce an upset here this afternoon? Stick around. We've got the opening bounce coming up right after this.
It's the weekend after the weekend before.
The City of Adelaide takes centre stage for Gather Round.
It's a long countdown to next year's Gather Round.
Half of Australia's population has descended upon Adelaide.
But luckily, a very short one to a show-stopping round 5. Super Saturday kicks off in the nation's capital.
Toby Green finishes the game in style.
The box office giants welcome the Saints to their home away from home.
King kicks a miracle goal.
In the twilight, we have the new kings of the close finish, Carlton.
It's just a sense of disbelief right here, right now.
Next up for Vossi's men, the winless Crows desperately trying to breathe life into their season.
Adelaide, the most pressured team in the competition.
And it's a Super Saturday night doubleheader.
Oh, yes.
The Dockers head back for Adelaide, eyeing redemption.
Dockers play to his touch.
Ken's young dynamos standing in the way.
It's exciting, isn't it?
While on the Gold Coast, Dimmer's rising suns host the Hawks.
He loves this kind of moment. He was born for this.
Your Sunday ticket kicks off down the highway in Geelong. The Cats looking for 5 wins on the bounce when they face the Roos.
Can you believe that?
Then we wrap up with generations clashing in the West.
Look at the don't argue. Harley Reid, the don't argue.
Harley against Dusty. Pack the popcorn.
It's the GWS Giants aiming for their best start to a season ever. Can they go 5 and zip? They're playing St Kilda, the Saints, playing at their 5th different venue so far this season. They've been to Geelong, the MCG, Marvel, Norwood, and now Canberra. This little passage of games. They've got 4 games in a 20-day period. They're right in the middle of it. They've got a short turnaround, and then on Thursday night, they have got the Western Bulldogs. So big test for them. I think Mark Howard's at his 5th venue as well from Mount Barker. Howie, welcome to you in the commentary box where you called the Giants home for a big win against the Saints last week.
Yeah, they were impressive, as you say, going for 5 straight. Picture-perfect conditions in Canberra. They did have a run of 9 straight losses here, the Giants, but undefeated this year, and a lot of that is based around the back line. Sam Taylor, Nick Del Santo, you look at the statistical categories, his name pops up all over the place.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Howard. First of all, beautiful conditions for football. No excuse to not play your best footy in days like today. Yeah, you speak about Sam Taylor, in my opinion, the best key defender in the competition. And the beautiful thing about him is he doesn't play as a spare. He rolls off at the right time, but he always has his direct opponent covered, and then he reads the flow of the ball. A little bit of subtle body work when he's needed to, and he's able to take those marks. He's number 1, hasn't lost a defensive one-on-one this year, and of those 15 that he's had, he's actually won 8 of them. The other 7 have been neutralised. He's a superb player. We got to watch him up close last week against Ben King. He beat Ben King. This week, he takes on Ben King's twin brother, Max. I think this is the pivotal matchup. We often speak about the midfield. I think we've got to go into the forward line of the Saints and the defensive half of the Giants to see who will get over the line today. That is the matchup that I'm looking forward to.
Nice from Nick Del Santo. You played on this man, Sam Taylor, Jake Rewalt. You started nicely against him early in his career, but then he's a different beast now.
He's turned into an extremely good player, and I like what Del said there. He's probably the best key defender in the competition at the moment. But they're back through a sort of 3 unit. And you look at Sam Taylor, who's the star. Jack Buckley's the workhorse. He does what he needs to do. And then Connor Iden's the other one who's coming there, and they've just got a nice little sort of setup down there, playing plenty of footy together, starting to develop a great relationship between that back three.
What's the key for the Saints today, G?
I think it's pressure. I think, as the coach alluded to, they didn't have any pressure in the first half last week. If you're going to unravel anybody, it's got to be done by the hard work of pressure and creating turnover.
Yeah, and that first possession as well. So they sort of go hand in hand a little bit. If the Saints can get their hands on the ball early and use that contested possession, then the emphasis goes on to the Giants to try and get it back off them. But if the Giants have it their own way, and we know Briggs is having a great year in the middle there, they've got a star-studded midfield as well, the Saints could be chasing a lot today, and that's when they're at their worst.
Peatling, second straight week, is the sub for the GWS, and Garcia on debut is the sub. See that last time they met, a big battle between the ruckmen. Look forward to Steele v Green, which was a big contest last time they met as well. The two Canberra locals, as Jack said, perfect conditions though in Canberra. Here's Kelly Underwood to get things underway.
So the Saints 2 from 2. Ross Lyon in his media conference this week, the first thing he said, they've been the best team for the last 10 months. They've won 15 of their last 18 games. Unlucky not to play off in a grand final. So Ross Lyon putting the pressure straight on the home side.
There's the warning.
Is that a UFO warning or is it a tsunami warning?
Look out, you can see all those Canberrians running for cover. Get the umbrella out. Get the floaties on.
Hey, yeah, you've got to go for high ground, don't you, Jared?
Indeed you do. They've embraced it, and they've got a code that they all relate to. Ross Lyon, he wants separation of those gun defenders, Buckley, Himmelberg and Iden and Taylor. As you said, Jack, clearly they don't want those operating all as one unit, because they're a powerful unit. And speaking of power, this bloke here is a gun, young Green, and he looks like he's going to get some attention today.
All set from Manuka Oval. Two of the more informed ruckmen in the competition. Off we go. Saturday afternoon footy. Canelio loops it back to Whitfield. Quick hands. Jumping involved Callahan. And now some run already. Penetrating kick inside 50. Playing in front was Wilkie. Hill went without it. Then he goes back. It comes the way of Sinclair. Another turnover. Hurried kick. Green's involved. The up and under. And the mark from Briggs, who's having a sensational season in the ruck.
You can already see that early match up there with Cal Wilkie. We've been speaking about Sam Taylor being the informed defender. Cal Wilkie's got the big job on arguably the informed forward of the competition in Jesse Hogan. But this man here, the ability to push forward as a ruck and the value that has in terms of Rowan Marshall having to chase him forward and make him accountable is going to be important today.
Hasn't produced a goal so far this season. It's about the only thing he hasn't done as he sends it on its way. And just hanging it out to the right for a minor score. They register the first score of the afternoon in the nation's capital.
Wanganeen-Milera releasing the ball immediately. It's a beautiful kick. This to a contest, though. Ash gets a hand on it. Spills into the square. Canelio had the opening possession. Little chipper inside 50. And it's effective to Bedford.
Having a great season, Canelio. Got 8 coaches' votes last week. It's just been so consistent. Often shadows the opposition's best midfielder, but he's off to a flyer.
3 goals for the season for the man that was a graduate of Melbourne's Next Gen Academy, Toby Bedford.
One of the recruits of the year last year. Came in and exploded. Been quiet so far this season. He'll be looking for a big one.
He's going to have to launch from 50. Great shot from behind, and he hooks it. Brings it back a touch, but nowhere near enough. So another behind for the Giants.
Underrated ability to break a tackle there. We see some of the stars of the competition, but Canelio just to shake that there and get out and create then a 1v-none, giving clear out for the kicker. So important.
Here he is. They're All-Australian the last couple of years, teaming up with the All-Australian from last year, Sinclair Wilkie.
Outside 5.
Cordy.
Play on. Yours, Steph.
Found a spot in this Saints team. Kicks to a 2-on-1. Oh, launching was King from the back. He's got a leap on him. Caminiti goes to ground. Hill, happy to run it over.
Well, just a couple of matchups from the boundary line. It's Stocker that's got the big job on Toby Green. Marcus Winhager back into the team after a week off last week. He's got the tough job on Josh Kelly, who's had a fantastic start to the season.
Marshall and Briggs. Early victory for Briggs down into the path of the Giants' small men. hacked around the boundary. Hogan's been in unbelievable form. Wilkie, stingy fullback. Steele, in front of his home crowd. The boundary line again wins out.
Only early days, but Ross wouldn't be all that flattered by looking at the contested possessions result. It was 6-1. They just picked up the last one, so 6-2. Early days, but he wouldn't want this, otherwise he will be looking for the margins.
Jack Steele, the captain, went to the coach, said, I want Tom Green. He's the hottest midfielder in the competition right now as Green rolls over Windhager and will get set for another stoppage.
Already interesting signs at stoppage here as well. The Giants are preferring to have their spare behind the ruck, and the Saints are having it at the front, which is Burns.
Jack said during the week, yep, he beat me fair and square last year. I want another crack at him. It stung over some of that loss. Here he is, the skipper. Steele skies it. Punched away. Over the head of Hill. Socket off the turf by Whitfield. Good pick up by the big man in Green. Briggs. And now they're off. Here's a chance. Bedford loops it over the top. Play on advantage. Daniels drives it home. And they open proceeding in the nation's capital.
If you're joining us for the first time and you want to know what the tsunami looks like, just stay tuned as we replay this. This is quintessential Giants football. Off the half-back line, quick pick up and give. A little fumble, but they're all running to support. Handball, not perfect, but really clever ball use. Bedford has had a great start and then nailed the goal. That's just great back-end to front-end football.
Saw some great separation there as well from the Giants forwards. Makes a big difference for decision making as well. You can rush and run really fast sometimes, and all of a sudden the defence is right in your face. But the ability for players off the ball carrier there to go wider and make the ground bigger to defend for the St Kilda players, whether it be in the mid part of the ground or in D50s, we just saw there.
Daniels with the opener for the Giants. Bounced a little bit wayward, but umpire lets it go. Steele battling in the middle. Coming out was Hill. Wasn't able to get his hands on the footy. Good tackle applied by Wanganeen-Milera.
He put it on Bedford and said that he had a great start to this season. It's a great start to this game. Playing in front there, giving himself every option just for a quick kick off the ground. It's important as a forward.
Holding, Sinclair. Steele, free kick, Jack Steele, free kick.
Well, Jack Steele's one of the few leading from the front for the Saints, and his season has been superb. He's up on all the major categories from 2023.
Sends a shallow ball inside 50. And there's some pushing and shoving. King claims it, but I think he was involved in a push earlier on the man that just does not lose one-on-one contests. And there's an example of it, Taylor.
It's a sign of just being a bit more worried about where your defender's playing on you. Obviously, he's playing on a very good player in Sam Taylor there, but he's an aggressive player as well. We know Taylor likes to win the ball back, so it's going to be a real sort of thinking game for Max King today about how he plays him and making sure that he's involved at the right times and in the spot at the right time as well.
Just a little tangle of legs there as well, and Taylor a little ginger.
Yeah, it didn't look good. I just wonder whether or not Max would be better off playing deeper and getting Taylor out of the way.
So Buckley looking for his partner in crime.
That's on 5.
Twosome, they've become down back for the Giants. And he's okay now. Taylor goes long. Fisted away. O'Halloran hits the footy hard. Handballs into space. They're going to come from all directions. Sinclair mops up. Stocker.
Good kick.
Great vision. Butler.
Outside 5.
Net a response here, the Saints. They're nearly there, but they just haven't been able to put it all together.
Here's Membry. Late withdrawal in that elimination final last year. Kicks to a 2-on-2. Caminiti forced to reach up over the top of Buckley and sees it over. And now Buckley's grimacing in a little bit of pain.
Jared, what did you mean about King playing him deeper?
Well, if he gets him deeper, then he can use he can get him out of the way for those hack kicks where he can read the ball better. And I just think he's so fast, he should back his speed in on the lead.
A lot of players around the footy inside 50. Membry whips out a hand pass to Seal. Dangerous centering ball, but the Giants have got it covered in the form of Ash.
We saw an example of that on Thursday night with Big Joe Danaher exposing Stephen May just because he can't keep up with him on the speed.
Beautiful run and use by Ash. Goes into Daniel. Use that movement from the Giants. They flow through the middle of the ground in the hands of Green. Immediately wants to progress it forward. Beautiful football off half-back to Toby Green. Amongst the goals last week, does a little step. Toby almost within range. In the end, he chips at the top of the square. Brown is there, as is Hogan, floating through with a nice finish. Here's Harvey Thomas, and the Giants looking ominous early.
They were pretty flat last week in the first, outside the first 5 minutes, the Giants, they were flat. They got it all together as a true professional side would in the last quarter, Jack, and they steamed home and had a pretty comfortable win. But right now, they are flying out of the back line as they want to do under Adam Kingsley. And they're doing it without Himmelberg, who's spent a fair bit of the time already on the bench.
Yeah, it's that structure forward as well. You can see the players holding their width, their wingers playing their roles. I love that from Brown as well, forward, just taking the ruckman there, getting an aerial contest, not allowing Battle to impact in the air, and then where every good crummer should be, right under the nose of the key forward, and a great goal finish there from Harvey Thomas.
They look razor sharp. The Giants, the home team, Sinclair under the pump, just blasts away. Perryman relieving defensive mark. Himmelberg.
Well, how many times already have we seen the ball get blasted into the forward line and rebounded so quickly? When the Saints would be knowing all this going in, and yet they're falling for the two-card trick.
The Giants look organised behind the ball as well, which is leading to that too.
So Brown drives it long into that left forward pocket. Halloran tackling Burns over the boundary line.
It's pretty simple for the Saints here. They just need to get their hands on the ball, and maybe it is a short possession game for a few minutes here, just to find your sort of way into the game by controlling the ball. And the Giants are great at pressuring them, so it's just comes down to just getting their hands on the ball.
Briggs assumes front position on Marshall. Tom Green had it, lost it. Daniels goes without it. Brad Hill in space, pirouette, and just hacks it out of the dangerous territory. And Memory playing in front.
That's better from a forward there. Just want to play in front, be ready, be on your toes when the ball does come out like that. It's not going to come perfect every time that you're there for that.
Cuts it back into Hill. It just had a bit too much on it for Phillippo. Tom Green with the turnover. Almost to his namesake there in Toby Green, but unlike Toby to fumble, there was pressure coming from both angles. So Bonner now to Burns.
Outside wide.
A chance for the Saints to regroup. And another foray forward. Oh, again, just opening the door ever so slightly. Thomas with a smother down. O'Halloran needs to get past Burns. He can't. Handballs, Riccardi. He's got an eternity to pick it up here. Has Cadman, and he's gone.
Good for Jared Brennan, like pick up one-handed off the ground there, but it's there's sort of a minute there of not really skillful football.
Darryl White style manoeuvre.
I think he thought he was Michael Jordan, just trying to one-hander.
And here he comes. This is the man that we've talked about statistically. #1 for intercept marks, intercept possessions, contested marks, contested defensive. He's everywhere on the stat sheet, G.
Just refer to him as #1.
Yeah.
#1. You can fall into the trap, though, as a key defender about wanting just to beat your man. So at the end of the day, he's looking to see King as he kicked 4, 2, 3 or 4 goals. But to be able to help in a team defence is so important.
Gadman in the ruck. Saints with the numbers at ground level. Phillippo stripped to the footy.
Well, there's Bedford at his best. I mean, he's great at transitioning the ball, but he's really good at the defensive elements.
Here they go again, the Giants, passing through the hands of Himmelberg. Callahan, powerful man, drives it inside. Second attempt from Hogan. Now Battle. Aaron hand pass. Comes off the hands of Stocker. The Giants again load up through Green. Thomas already kicked one, back to Green. Just tries to burst his way through the Butler tackle. They come and come and come, the Giants. No escape for the Saints.
Thank you. Ruck, Aaron. Good ruck, Anthony. Aaron.
Caminiti down to Ross. How does this bounce favour Membry? Works his way in front of Buckley. Burns go backwards to just try and gain some poise, and that's exactly what Bonner does, and he hits up Membry.
It's good work rate from Membry there, involved in the first instance and then gets forward.
Oh, and he's really made his teammate earn that. Charging out was Steele. Oh no, and Sam Taylor's in a world of pain. Oh dear. Now, you never like to see this on a footy field. Two players with their eyes for the ball. And he's not in a good way, Sam Taylor. Jack Steele coming the other way. And a nasty collision. There will be a pause here and a break in play while the medical professionals get around Sam Taylor.
It's a courageous game, footy. It is just a courageous game, and coming at the ball a million miles an hour and Jack Steele coming the other way. Just collisions like this, and you could clearly see there that it was just that high impact.
And there's Peatling, sorry, Jack, who's the sub today, so he's up. You could hear that noise from here, and you've been complimenting, we all have, about Sam Taylor, the way that he has his opponent covered, but happy to assist others. And that was that aggression of the football coming forward. It was the right decision, and then just a massive collision of bodies. Jack Steele has come from the ground as well, but he appears to be okay at this stage.
Just thankfully, the medical team's got to him. It's because it's so close to the boundary, just got to him straight away. Never want to see those sort of scenes.
No, you don't. And we saw it with Tom Liberatore last night as well, didn't we? He collapsed behind play, and that was scary scenes. And this would be shattering for the Giants and their players. And I guess, Jack, as a team, how do you respond when you see such a brave player down back who's in career best form, who the two of you have just raved about for the last 5 minutes, go down in an incident like that? As a teammate and a friend, how do you react?
It's pretty raw, these sort of moments. Like I remember in 2020 grand final, Nick Vlauston got knocked out at the start of the grand final, and you start asking questions. And right now, I suppose the coaches probably more so are asking the question, what do you do now if Sam Taylor looks like he probably won't be taking the field again today? What does that look like? So there's the structural side of it too, but this is an emotional sort of roller coaster as well here, because that would be going through the players' heads. Arguably our best player is looking like he won't partake in the game. What does that do for our shuffle? What does that potentially do for certain players in their roles? They may need to be shifted to fill a gap now. But it can be really tough. What I do like seeing is sides that come together here, which is interesting because Adam Kingsley's actually called the players over here, so he's using that as a potential sort of halfway through the first quarter style sort of setup.
Which is
it's good leadership. I like this.
Yep.
I like this. Now I don't know if it's allowed, but
I've never seen it before. It's really
like
creative,
this.
isn't it?
I've seen it in a women's game, GWS women's game, where the coach Alan McConnell called them all over while there was a break in play as well. So
that's good from Kingsley, because there would be a lot of things running through the minds of the Giants players. Clearly, they're affected more at the moment with one of their players being down. But as the senior leader of a football club, there's footballing messages that he'd like to get across now. But also, you can be the emotional barometer for your players. So.
And we're talking about an outstanding human in Sam Taylor, aren't we?
Who is still being attended to, Kelly.
Yes.
He's not in a good way, without stating the obvious. He hasn't moved as the medical staff still surround him. So, our thoughts are with Sam and his family and everyone close to him and the football club.
Well, he's got a big family, country, Western Australia. He's one of 7 kids, comes from the farm. So, no doubt, his family in West Australia watching as well, and our thoughts are with them. And as soon as we have any news, of course, we will pass it on. But he's had his injuries and his illness. He's missed with illness, missed about half a season, so hasn't had a really clear run at it, and yet such a leader and an outstanding player.
No, he missed out, I reckon, on an All-Australian jumper last year simply because of injury. When he was at his best, he
played 16 games, wasn't he?
Yeah. And that's probably he was on the borderline. That's unfortunate for him that he missed those.
Injured.
Yeah, I'm sure most people would have.
Played 18 games.
Ross Lyon on his way down to ground level. He just saw Tony Brown, much loved St Kilda figure, just bringing his team together. So structurally, what happens now, G?
Well, they're not down on manpower down there. When Himmelberg plays a more attacking role, he can go to be more defensive role. I mean, they can bring Brown from the forward line down to the back line if need be. But it's they'll just shuffle. I think Buckley will probably just shuffle over one, and everyone will cascade across and take the lesser player. But King will be the standout. I suspect that Buckley will go to King, and they'll shuffle there in. What's your thoughts, Jack?
Yeah, look, I think they're probably lucky that they've got they've already got their sort of big key back there in Buckley. But it's interesting to see now. You made the call, G, about getting Max King closer to goal. I would definitely be doing that now. I don't know whether I would have gone early, but I would have definitely gone with him deeper to goal now.
Okay, only a few metres away is Nick Del Santo on the boundary. Nick, tell us what you're seeing, what you're hearing down there.
Yeah, well, once again, just a good opportunity by both coaches for probably different reasons. As we've still got 11 and a half minutes to play, we've had a substantial break in this game to just have another chat to their players. I think it's been really well managed, and even for Ross to come down from his preferred position in the box to have another chat to his players. The care that they're taking for Sam Taylor is intense, but it appears to be the right thing. He's got enough medical staff around him. Just keeping a close eye on the Giants and trying to get a feel for those reshuffling oppositions. And I think the obvious one was probably Cal Brown to be able to go into defence, because that way it still leaves Cadman, Riccardi and Hogan as your key forwards in front of the football. Plus, you've obviously got Toby Green still there who can play multiple roles. So an extensive delay in this game. I wouldn't be shocked if they try and do another small warm-up just to get back into the flow of it. But it's been a blistering start by the Giants. Their ball movement off half-back is just a thing of beauty.
We can tick off clearances for the Saints, but they've only gone inside forward 50 on 4 occasions, and they haven't even looked like scoring just at the present time. So the restart will hopefully fall their way, and they can find some solutions, because they really haven't even got their hands on the footy. 36 possessions to 52. They've been given a nice old lesson in the first 10 minutes without a hell of a lot of damage. 14 points is inconsequential if you get the game going your way.
Yeah, they've been opened up through the middle, and it's from a TV point of view, it's actually really good to watch what the Giants are doing off the ball. So a lot of the times at the top of screen, you'll see the Giants winger staying right out of the play. But he's running a role there for a reason. He has to be played on, because if the ball does go into the middle, it might get switched out to him. So if St Kilda man him up, it allows this free-flowing footy through the centre part of the ground, which then opens up every part of the forward 50 for you. As a forward, you can lead wherever you want there. It's sort of double or triple threat. When you say that, double threat might be you can lead up or you can lead back. And then when you open up sort of triple 4 times, you can go anywhere inside 50. Accessing the forward 50 from inside the centre square, so in the centre part of the ground, the scoring percentage goes through the roof as well.
So nearly an 8-minute delay as the Giants come and check on their mate Sam Taylor. Peatling, the sub, has been activated. So as soon as we get any word about Sam's condition, hopefully it's positive in a very negative situation, but really distressing scenes for a break this long, Jerry.
Yeah, no, it's a significant break. I think he was unconscious for a fair period of time, so they've taken every precaution. He'll be off to hospital, and we'll get the latest, and we'll broadcast it as soon as we get it.
There you go. You saw the matchups that are starting to eventuate now. We get a look at the still shots from the back line. Buckley's gone to King, and Himmelberg has gone to Membry.
So Sam Taylor slowly taken from the field in the Medicart. Never had any concussions before or head-related injuries, but it looked like a clash of heads with Jack Steele, accidental, and it knocked him out straight away. All precautions taken. We wish you, Sam, all the very best of luck, and as soon as we get any news, we will broadcast it as the game gets set to get underway after an 8-minute distressing delay.
So the footy continues, but our thoughts with Sam Taylor, as Kelly intimated, as soon as we get any news, we'll let you know about Sam's situation. The game continues with the Giants with the opening goals through Daniels and Thomas dominating early. So Owens gets the free kick. And the Saints reset now. Sends a high ball inside 50. So King will have a different opponent down there. Looks like Buckley standing beside him at the moment as they shuffle the defence. Peatling's the sub into the game.
And in many ways, Jack Buckley has lived in the shadow of Taylor, but he's been an outstanding player in his own right.
Membry in the ruck. Iden throws a boot on it, just trying to clear the area. Works out nicely to Bedford, who started with a bit of sparkle. Comes to the near wing. Hogan on the lead, can't complete the mark. And the Saints now through Wilkie. Tries to access the corridor through the smooth-moving number 7, Wanganeen-Milera. What a start of the season. He's had a little bit too much on it. Filippo, in the end, just sort of ran underneath the foot. He gets away with it, and it works out to the big boy from Traralgon-Membry.
Nice and calm from Filippo there, just to find a mark.
Trying to spot a target inside. And there is Buckley arriving on the scene to get the fist in front of King.
Max King just needed to run through the ball there. I think that he probably thought that he had Jack Buckley done, but just slowed up and was a sort of awkward style mark. Needed to continue his lead right through the ball.
It was a brilliant spoil, wasn't it? Burns wrapped up in a tackle. Callum Brown's got him.
I'm not sure Callum Brown wants to be going into the back line. I've heard whispers out of the Giants camp that he thinks he's a forward, and he knows he's a forward, and he tells everyone he's a forward.
Marshall pumps it long. Here's a chance for King. Little handball. Give it went to Higgins. And now a chance. Dribbling ball for goal, but it's not to be for Darcy Wilson.
Just on that comment there, Jack, but every defender thinks that they're a forward. That's the issue. They all think they've got the ability to go forward, but the reality is they can't.
The word from the Giants is, thankfully, Sam Taylor is conscious. He's in the rooms. He'll be assessed in the rooms before he's taken to hospital. So a small positive and a real negative for Sam, but he is conscious in the rooms, which is good news in a very difficult situation.
Some positive signs here for the St Kilda Football Club. This last sort of minute and a half, the ball's been played in their half of the ground. They had 4 inside 50s before that stopping play, so a couple more now, which is important.
Cadman in the ruck. Tries to clear the area by hand. Saints have got the small men, but O'Halloran, powerful-looking operator, drives a long ball towards the wing. It's a good ball, too. Just gets a little bit too much on it for Hogan. The don't argue to Wilkie works. Hogan tries to manufacture something around the boundary line again to Bedford. Taylor, back to Ash. Bedford within range. Looks for the short option. Could have gone for goal. Was in two minds, really.
The deja vu there. Riccardi needed to come right at the ball.
Exactly right, Jack.
You can tell when a side's on when the handball timing is right.
Yep.
So that actually opens up a player to be running by himself. That's when a side is really playing good offensive football.
They just got so much flow about them, haven't they? They almost can handball without looking. They know where each other are going to be.
Well, St Kilda have been operating in a very congested forward line at multiple repeat stoppages, which is good. It's close to their goals, but it also means it's empty up the other end of the ground. If you get good flow, you're going into an empty forward line. It's unusual they didn't have a shot at goal then.
Marshall has been picked up. Here's a chance for Whitfield on his left. The snap is going to be offline.
Callaghan off to a great start. He's a junior Rolls-Royce, Callaghan. He's a magnificent mover. He's a great distributor, and he's off to the start he would have been hoping for last night.
Jason McCartney from the Giants will join us at quarter time and fill us in the situation with Sam Taylor, who is conscious in the rooms. Cordy dragged down.
That's a professional free kick, I reckon, there from Toby Green. I don't mind. That slows the Saints up.
It's by hand to Bonner. Spots up a short ball to Wilkie. So if you're just joining us, Sam Taylor concussed. The game stopped for 8 minutes. Taylor has already kicked the goal with the turnover to Riccardi. He's got the legs from here. We should go back and bang it home. Wanted the short option, takes it. Cornelio just drifted forward.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that just slowed down, allowed the first layer of forwards to get forward, which was Thomas and Bedford, and then all of a sudden the next wave of midfielders, they come in, they pop up, and what is a really easy little 15-metre dink to the ex-captain of the football club, and this is a big one for the Giants because the Saints have had the majority of the ball without hitting the scoreboard yet in this little period after the Sam Taylor stoppage.
So it was Thomas to Riccardi to Cornelio, directly in front. Good-looking kick off the boot. Right through the middle, and the Giants have got 3 with the Saints yet to score.
Give them an opportunity, they will destroy you. This is a side that's on song, and that is a gold-plated turnover. We talk about turnovers. Well, there's some that essentially you can't impact, you can't affect, but that is just that's a C grade, D grade, E grade, if you like, turnover. At the dangerous spot, the young fellow is all over it, he outread it, and it's just a really poor passage of play from the Saints.
Adam Kingsley will be wrapped there with Harvey Thomas. Yeah. Young 18-year-old kid finding your way in AFL footy as a half forward, which can be a really hard position to play. What do? Well, you do the defensive stuff. So just that little turnover there, creates a goal, but it's more about now it creates this uncertainty with St Kilda kicking the ball in the back half to know that the Giants are on defensively.
They need a major, and they need a response, and they need one quickly. Ross tumbles it inside 50, and Owens juggles the mark.
That was a great clearance by the St Kilda ruckman. He did the tap work, and then he got on the deck. And that's when they're at their most damaging, ruckman. When they get their own clearances, when they go out of the front part of the stoppage. Here he is, second effort, bang, and releases. Great stuff.
A couple of goals already this year for Mitch Owens. After an explosive start by the Giants. Can he snare a settler? No, he's off the side of the boot. It's going to stay in play. Slapped down by the Giants' defence. Peatling involved. Goes again. Flicks it out. Cornelio around the corner, but it's all St Kilda. Wanganeen-Milera. He's clever. He's smart. And he hits up Marshall on the chest.
Give me a mo line on that, Jared. What do you reckon, 15?
I think the Black Max that I bought from Bunnings yesterday, you probably stretch out to about 9 metres.
Well, they need this one, the Saints.
They certainly do. And their ruckman's in form. 8 goals from his 24 games last year. Can he produce one when they desperately need one? Marshall cannons into the post.
Good learning curve for and only a little thing, but for young ruckman, he's never get caught on the mark there. So if that had been short, the Giants ruckman standing on the mark.
Holding the contest goes to Cadman against Cordy. Accesses the corridor with an aggressive kick to Whitfield. Immediately plays on by hand. Cornelio still just backs off him as he goes down towards the attacking 50. He's got the leader. Daniel's already kicked the goal. Drives it all the way deep. Riccardi, the umpire right on the spot, marks just inside.
That's an unbelievable kick.
Unbelievable kick.
Isn't it? It's centimetre perfect, but it's all from that width again that we saw from the Giants players, just sitting outside, allowing that corridor use to come through, nice and free through there.
And Cadman knew it was going to be there. He just wheeled and knew he was going to be there.
6 goals from his last 3 games. Doesn't quite add to it there, didn't quite get enough on it. Riccardi, the Giants looking dangerous all around the ground.
They're scoring way too easily at the moment. And the St Kilda defenders will struggle today if there's no pressure on the footy up the ground.
Want to go short, Sinclair.
They haven't had a free-flowing passage of play at all today. Their defence has just been superb, the Giants.
Can they think their way through this one? Hill makes it difficult for Caminiti. Back to Hill. Now he'll get a second go. Can he hit up a target inside 50? Off hands. Butler's there. Iden. Whitfield. Hurried kick. Ware. Not out of trouble yet. Hill flicks it wide. O'Halloran. And juggling the mark is Sinclair. Right place, right time.
This is where they've just got to be smart. Can't blaze away. There's plenty of Giants numbers inside defensive 50. Got to create a little pocket here.
Well, there's the pocket. Can they create? Membry, Higgins tries to keep it in play.
It was a throw.
It was a clear throw.
It was a big push out, I think, too.
Oh, right. So it's a free kick to Jack.
He fancy himself here. He says he practiced this when he was at the Tigers.
He's not going to waste any time, Higgins. He's got it. Their first major on the board with 4 minutes before quarter time.
He's having a good year, is Jack Higgins. All these numbers are right up. And this is a good conversion. They needed it. There's the big shove out. He twisted himself, tried to bring the ball back in, but O'Halloran was pinged for the double hands in the back. And they get their first goal. They've had to work hard for it. The scoreboard looks a lot more respectable when you got one in the goal mark.
Sometimes when you're struggling offensively, you need sort of individual acts of brilliance to score. It's not a way to win a game of footy, but it's a way to keep yourself in a game. And you're right, the scoreboard does look a little bit better now. hitting the score with a goal.
Whitfield and Bonner, the leading possession winners with 8 apiece. Drifting back is Wilson.
Toby a bit stiff there. He was scragging the way through. He looked at the umpire, but no support.
Philippo bangs it forward. Inside 50, repelled by the Giants. Falls to Toby Green. Now Ware. They just continue to flow through the middle. Ends up in the hands of Brown. He takes on 2 tacklers, which was ambitious. Marshall and Membry. Thomas involved in the handball chain. Callaghan, the powerful one, can't break the tackle.
So they finally broke it down, but they look about a metre off at the present time, the Saints. They're not closing down the space quickly enough, making the decision. They can see it unfolding, but they're still able to arrogantly handball their way through their defensive setup.
Spills out. What a finish that is! Tom Green with a little check sign in front of the home crowd. And the Giants kick away again.
That is a finish.
That's a great clearance goal, isn't it?
Good to see how he freed himself up here, because he sort of found himself skirting the boundary by himself, but just got on the backside of Jack Steele there, who had him in front, but slipped him, Tom Green, there, and then he will not find much of a better finish here. Just got him behind him. Set play. Brett Daniels in the right spot as well. And that's a 195 midfielder. Be absolutely thrilled with that as a finish.
Yeah, cracking goal, and a great replay, as you said. They knew they had a couple of offensive runners, and whilst Jack Steele has got the role on Tom Green, he's also, his DNA says he's a ball watcher and a winner, and that's exactly what he was doing at the critical point.
6 disposals for Steele. Green's had the 6 as well, but he's got the goal in that matchup. Here go the Saints, and they set something up. In a one-on-one contest, Owens with the shove-off. Ash. Chance for the Giants. Peatling with the kick inside 50. Hogan getting down low.
That's 3 marks Hogan's dropped. He's had a fantastic season, but he's got slippery hands at the moment, Howie.
We saw it last week, didn't we, Jared? He could have kicked 8 last week. He had plenty of opportunities.
Toby, Rowan.
Needs some grippo.
He's going all right. He leads the Coleman at the moment with the 16 goals, along with Fritsch from Melbourne. Sharman with the kick out. Had to get on his bike, but he did, and Owens takes the mark.
Outside 5.
So they run and spread. Hasn't got too many options but to go down the line. Caminiti was the target. Membry in there as well. Hurried kick out. Windhager, bouncing ball. Ware broke the tackle of Butler. Tripped. So play on advantage. Getting busy was Thomas. Whitfield. They want to use this corridor and they want to go by hand. Green goes by foot.
He caught 2 points there, wasn't he? He was going to go left foot, then ended up going right foot, but...
Bonner, Steele, inside 50, needs to be perfect. And it is to Bradley Hill on the lead, and immediately the triple premiership man points to the 6.
Yeah, a little bit of fatigue maybe coming in there, but the Giants, I think they were a bit put on the back foot by the advantage call. I don't think they really wanted to take that advantage, but inevitably it was a bad kick by Tom Green, and it's resulted in a shot.
1 goal this season, 97 in his wonderful career. Game 238 for Bradley Hill. Starts right, continues to fade away.
Margin is 20. Himmelberg sees something he likes and launching at it is Hogan.
I like that from Jesse Hogan. I just think he obviously didn't take the mark, but just really looks good in the air. And that's, I reckon, when you see your key forwards in there, they're playing good footies. They just look really balanced in the air when they jump for the ball, whether they mark it or not.
Briggs. Taken away by Windhager. To centre half forward. With hands Ash. Strong in the contest. Getting back and involved Iden. Loose ball, Membry. They've got the numbers. Steele stops, props, goes to the goal square, and Caminiti's going to be paid back.
Well, right that down to Jack Higgins. He had 2 involvements there. One cleared the ball, then it went into congestion, then he went after it again, and he whipped the handball out to set it free. Hopefully he hasn't done his knee. He's grabbing at it, but that was just fantastic play. He gets a lot of accolades for kicking goals, but he created that if that one goes through. We'll get another look at it, but it was superb stuff by Jack.
Great little slip by Caminiti is there as well. Buckley playing in front of him, just sort of really pulled the chair out a little bit of him and as he was coming back to create that space and get past him for a solid grab as well.
Lining up for the set snap. Has it got enough curl on it? It doesn't. Gee, they're peppering. They've had their opportunities, Jack.
Yeah, they have. And this is obviously this last part of this quarter has been predominantly dominated by the Saints, but they just need that output on the scoreboard.
Pull the chair out?
It's like a basketball move. So, you know, if you pull the chair out on someone and they sort of fall backwards a little bit, it's a move I used to do back in the day. Howard.
Back at school in Tassie. Driven along the line. So a dominant quarter by the Giants. Up next, we'll hear from Jason McCartney from the Giants to fill you in on a situation with Sam Taylor with an 8-minute delay after he was badly concussed out on the ground. But the Giants lead at quarter time over the Saints, 4-4-28 by 19 points.
So the undefeated Giants with a hot start to its round 5 clash against St Kilda at Manuka Oval in Canberra. They're aiming to make it 5 wins from their first 5 games, something they haven't done in their 12-year history so far. And the margin is 19 points at quarter time, 4-4-28 to 1-3-9. Jack Revolt and Jared Healy. The Saints have had their opportunities.
They have. I mean, they could have kicked another couple of goals, but so too could have the Giants. They need to step up. They need to knock off the Giants' ball movement primarily.
OK, let's get down to Nick Dal Santo. He's got the latest on Sam Taylor with the GM of football at the Giants, Jason McCartney.
Well, Jace, thanks for your time. We saw a really unfortunate football incident involving Sam Taylor. What's the update?
Yeah, update. He's gone to Canberra Hospital for further assessment, but he was conscious. He was speaking as he got in the ambulance, so he'll get the best care there. So, yeah, obviously it didn't look great, but he's a courageous kid, so he's in the very best hands now. He'll be fine.
Would you expect him to travel home with the team later tonight, or
no,
welfare's first?
I don't think so, but we'll wait and see how it plays out. But like I said, the beauty was conscious and speaking, and he's got great support around him now, so he'll be fine.
Appreciate the time. All the very best for Sam as well.
Thanks, bud. Thank you.
OK, so the latest there from the Giants, we appreciate them. Here is the replay of the incident. It was a head clash between Jack Steele and Sam Taylor, and Taylor looked like Jerry was KO'd before he even hit the turf.
Yeah, no question about that. As soon as their heads clashed, I mean, there was a technical issue there for him. He can check out at some stage down the track. He'll protect himself when he goes into those body-on-body clashes, but it was a real shame for many reasons, but specifically he was so far BOG at the time, it wasn't funny. But his health is the primary concern, and no doubt, as we just heard from Jason, he'll get the best care in the hospital and be back to footy in a couple of weeks, hopefully.
9-minute delay it was after that sickening incident in the first quarter. So they kicked the first 3. The Giants' margin is 19.
Daniels, Thomas, Cornelio, then Higgins before Green. What a beautiful finish in the shadows of quarter time. Dominant turn by the Giants. Peatling was the activated sub. There is Tom Green. Immediately to Peatling. Clears the area with a looping hand pass. Bedford was in there very early. Now Brown tries to shrug the tackle without a great deal of luck. Good tackle it was too by Windhager. Back in the side. You like Windhager, Jack?
Yeah, I do. Big sort of midfielder. I reckon he's got that defensive side to him, which is really valuable as a midfielder and valuable to Ross Lyon and his coaching group.
Cordy puts it out in front of Marshall. Does well to release it by hand. They run it up the near wing to the Saints. Not the required distance. Hill can't keep it in. I think it is on the St Kilda player, so it'll be the Giants to reset centre wing in the hands of Perryman.
Play on inside, play on!
Drives it to half forward. Coming across in front. Unable to take a mark in the end. Wanganeen-Milera. Battle. Ross. Back to Battle. In the word, the best avenue to go forward. It's off the boot of Wilkie in the end. Owens, was he held? free kick, play on. Hill tucks the Sherrod under his arm. He brings it back inboard to Sinclair. A bit of a fumble. Can he regather? Look at the pressure, even the perceived pressure by the Orange Tsunami. And Buckley, Kelly, steady, Whitfield.
Well, we just saw that handball go to ground from Hill. I mean, if you're going to play at top speed, you have to be able to hit those targets. We're seeing a complete reverse with the men in the orange jumpers.
Yeah, they have been error-riddled today as Whitfield sends it to the big pack, almost battle. Waiting at the back is Daniels. He gives it to Riccardi, the centering kick. Can he find someone off hands?
Rebound here.
Docker. Can he go? Puts it out in front of Hill, who just lets it go. Allows Membry to pick it up. Hill dodges one. Oh, he's put Higgins under the pump here. Bedford with a little push in the back.
Big contest.
No whistle. Bedford, Ash, Himmelberg, Cornelio. It's all too easy. They're running in waves. It was a floater of a kick. Hogan couldn't get down. It was a tough one for him. He's disappointed with that result, and the Saints can reload and go again.
Well, this has been going back and forth, back and forth, back and fatigue would be really hammering right now. So it's a question of who can handle it before a stoppage.
Jared Healy, Jack Rewalt, Nick Del Santo and Kelly Underwood, Saturday afternoon football from Canberra. Ball just stays in. Bedford, he's been in everything early. Green loops it back to O'Halloran. Short inside 50 ball is good. And it lands in the hands of Toby Green.
Sometimes what you need is just that one player to take the moment, find that little kick there. But at the moment, it's just a bit of sort of circle work, really. Both sides are sitting numbers behind the ball and are trying to attack fast, but have lost a little bit of structure. Certainly the Saints at the moment don't look structured in front of the ball at all. And it's certainly hurting the way they use the ball going forward too.
Jeremy Cameron's kicked the most goals for the club with 427. Toby Green is second on 338, looking for 339 to further extend the lead. Sends it up high and straight, and the Giants have kicked their fifth.
Well, in that passage of play, the Saints probably had 2, maybe 3 attempts at going forward. Each time they went forward, they mucked it up with a bad handball or a poor kick. There was a really good chase and turnover by Toby Bedford once again. And then the fatigue set in. You can just see here the chasers are only going half pace. It opens up a little bit. Toby Green slides in there. But extra numbers of the contest won by the Giants.
Jared, what are your views on forward handballs? I just see so many sides getting to risky positions because they're handballing straight forward. I feel like it brings the pressure on at the moment. And we've seen errors today from really straightforward handballs that are just direct turnovers that turn into goals.
Marshall takes it out of the ruck, bangs it long. Almost juggled by Whitfield. Here's Tom Green. Just weaves his way through traffic.
That was a hoik.
It was a hoik and O'Halloran.
Yeah, my response to that would be, if you're giving a forward handball, you've got a 180-degree view of what's ahead. So you shouldn't be giving that handball if the pressure's going to be drawn.
It's just inviting pressure, and it sort of compounds basically into a defence.
Peatling to the opposition in Hill. Sinclair has a bounce, assesses the options, goes by hand. Windhager. Wilson. Been impressive in his first 4 games for St Kilda, and is that a hold? Perryman doesn't like the call at all. Owens will get a set shot.
You're on the money there, Kel. Wilson's been terrific.
Getting it down the outside there, wasn't it? Where Wilson was on the outside.
Yeah, it started with a forward handball.
Yeah, full of forward handball, but then the width one there of just getting it wider and opening the whole 50 up. He's been pretty good in the air already, Joey's.
So they haven't had their kicking boots on collectively as a group so far. And Owens just guides that one through. Their second of the afternoon.
Well, they needed that one, Jack, just to take some pressure off on the scoreboard.
Yeah, he's just I like his ability to get forward, Mitch Owens. He's what they play him in the ruck a bit.
Yeah,
they play him
everywhere.
back. I'd just like to see him maybe potentially play half forward as just playing one position. Nice finish there on the left foot though.
Well, the ruckmen have been warned, either that or they haven't been watching the broadcast, because you put your hands around the waist of a player, around the chest, you're going to get pinged. And that's been pretty clear for everyone to see. Easier said than done not doing, because you're under the heat, the ball's coming in, you've got the wrong position, you're in the defensive spot, but you can't do it.
Back to the 19-point quarter-time margin that favoured the Giants. Cornelio to the beast, Tom Green. Bradley Hill going to send it the other way. Drives the ball inside 50. Good lead, good hit, and Membry will line up.
So good lead, but gee, that was a fantastic hit from Brad Hill. Sometimes you don't know where the space is as a forward, and just to have Bradley Hill there kick across his body 50 metres into space and basically invite Tim Membry into the ball is such a really good trait to have as an outside player there. But you can just see he's darted his eyes across, kicked it to the advantage.
Perfect.
Fantastic finish.
Three-time leading goal kicker at St Kilda, Tim Membry. Normally a good finisher. Perfect example of that. And the Saints have got 2 on the row.
Well, they're dangerous enough, as we've seen over the last 2 or 3 minutes, if they can just move the ball in and isolate a one-on-one. And this is a classic case coming out of the centre. You can just see from behind the goals, Saints are in the one-on-one position. And from here, you should score.
Yeah, Lockie Ash got caught there trying to think he was a handball receiver and the ball was still in contest, and left Brad Hill, who'd come off the half-forward flank. And as a defender, you can't think about offense until your job's done defensively.
Yep.
You just started to track to the other side of the contest, and Brad Hill was the user, and then Tim Membry finished nicely. And now, on the 13-point game, the Saints are right back in this.
Down by 25 earlier this quarter. They've responded in the most impressive fashion. Marshall's been really lifting them. Bangs it inside 50. Sharman again. Zinging around in there. Perryman, King, all off hands. Still takes it upon himself. Handballs over the top. Membry, tough angle. Centering ball. They're going to leap from all angles. Up there was Filippo. Breaking the tackle.
He's done his
for
shoulder.
the Giants was Iden.
Calamidi might have popped his shoulder in that tackle.
Anthony Calamidi grabbing as that shoulder. So their sub was the debutant Hugo Garcia. Here's a replay for St Kilda. Sam Taylor stretched it off in the first half after a sickening head collision. So Peatling, the sub for the Giants, is already on. Daniels goes off the ground. Clean bowls Toby Green. Oh, another big hit. Daniels comes in. Goes hard on Filippo. Just barging his way through is Tom Green. A bouncing ball. And well done by Bonner, the former Port Adelaide player. This is Wilson, the first-year player.
Darcy Wilson. Short to Bonner. Hill, who's having an influence.
Well, they've really lifted their work rate, the Saints. They're on top in this quarter at the present time. They're winning it around the clearances. They're winning in the contested ball. They've got the last couple of goals.
Happy to go short as well. Steele to Wilkie, measures it.
You just see those Saints players pushing forward there and creating instability in the Giants' defence.
Is the important kick for Filippo. Hold.
Again.
Down the way of King.
This is what happens when you're undersized in the defensive part of the game, is that you start to give away these holding free kicks just due to the fact that you're worried about playing on a taller opponent, potentially a more dangerous opponent. Whether the Saints can make the most of their shots on goal. This man last week didn't have his best game in front of goal. Important one for him. He hasn't had a lot of the ball so far, so to finish now would be a vote of confidence.
Missed some opportunities. Hooked that far and away too much.
Marcus Windhager's just come from the ground for a well-deserved rest. He's had the job of Josh Kelly today, who's just had the one disposal. And when Kelly goes off, he picks up Toby Green in the midfield, so his job doesn't get any easier.
Iden's going to go back to Ash, who had the kick-in duties, and the switch is on. Needs to be spot on, and it was.
He's done an amazing job, Nick, hasn't he? Just one possession to Josh Kelly, who'd be all Australian bound right now.
Yeah, absolutely, averaging just under 30 disposals per game. It also shows that the tag's not very common, so those guys that haven't become accustomed to it, it is challenging in a different way.
Where to Buckley? They're zigzagging their way down the ground. Here is Kelly. Was he a little too keen, Wilson? Umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, snuck back on the ground there to avoid Marcus Windhager.
Clever move.
Kelly's just going to pop it up, ask them to run and jump, and that's exactly what Owens does. You set it up like that. I will leap. Oh no, he's made an error. And Hogan's going to mop it up, and Mitch Owens, the best and the worst of Aussie rules footy.
Chocolates, two-boiled lollies.
Well, there's the chocolates.
Yep. Look at that.
And then just the adrenaline was just pumping through his veins. He wanted to get the ball on quickly, but Hogan, he saw it and
Snuck
thought,
up.
how good's this?
Little sort of 6'5" pop-up sprinkler. Jesse Hogan sort of found a second gear as soon as he saw this ball go over the top of Josh Battle there.
Surely you teach these young players, Jack, to take a hanger, let all the replay sequence be rolled out before you try and play on in a situation like that, Jack.
Oh, I think there is an element of, and I know we're mucking around about the airtime, but just actually letting the game disperse again from fast turnover. They actually, sometimes everything's go as fast as you can on turnover, but your men have got to get forward as well to give you options too, so just needed to be a little bit calmer there.
Retakes the lead in the Coleman medal with that goal as Jesse Hogan.
Particularly when you're only kicking at 15 metres sideways. You're not getting any advantage. Anyway, we reset.
Does he avoid Ross Lyon at half-time?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd be avoiding him.
You know that feeling well, Jack. Wouldn't you just sneak into the rooms, round into the corner?
Cardi in the ruck. Shove forward into the hands of Brown. Does well to release it by hand. Stepping through Callaghan. Releasing immediately Perryman. Kelly starting to get a bit of the footy. A favourable kick forward. And the man that kicked the opening goal, Daniels, will line up for his second.
Terrific player, Daniels, having another really good game. Plays a really important role for them as that small forward comes up. Heard an interview with him the other day. He said his main role is just to protect the corridor. But we see him as something a hell of a lot more than that. And I think Nick Del Santo spurred Kelly on to greater heights. Ever since you said that, Nick, he's had 3 touches.
Just to bring it back, but can't manage that.
He's such a good player. It's going to be really difficult to hold him down, but it's well done by Marcus, but it also shows the depth of this Giants midfield. Kelly goes off the ground a star, and in walks Toby Green. So one star to a superstar.
Bonner sharp.
That's a design play for anyone wanting to know. Just opened that corridor up, didn't they?
Docker, Burns. Can they keep this design play all the way down the ground? Phillippo.
Outside 5.
Just 1 goal in the first quarter, St Kilda, but they've kicked a couple already in this second term. Bangs it long. In they go. Memory was the target. Off hands. Owens makes up for his error a few moments ago down the other end of the ground where it conceded 1. He's got his second.
If you're going to play an undersized ruck, and Mitch Owens has been doing that for a long time now, the ability to get forward and impact on the scoreboard is so valuable. You just see him here sliding in behind Harry Himmelberg. Saints opted probably not to fly. You see the two sort of key forwards at the back there, but a nice finish by Mitch Owens. And we spoke about it. He might not be playing great football, but you can find little moments like this and the Higgins moment before about getting goals. Jared, would you play Max King in the ruck? He's had 2 touches today.
Yeah,
and I know they've gone with Mitch Owens in the past, and now they're back to their number 1 ruck. But would you play him in there as just that second option, get him around the ball, get him a touch?
Yeah, I think it works. It's worked particularly for Joe Danaher in recent times. It's worked for Cadman, who's playing for
It's only
the
a couple of
Giants.
minutes a quarter, isn't it?
Yep. Well, there's concerns about fragility and knees and all that sort of stuff, but there's upside too.
Callaghan with the left shoulder taped up. Gets the clearance. Contest there with Battle and Brown. Gee, that was almost a throw. He got rid of it that quickly, did Darcy Wilson. A couple of clever handballs.
He's been a terrific player, really impressive. Good pickup by the Saints recruiting staff, Darcy Wilson. Very clever with his hands, as we just saw. Good runner.
Real good runner.
Yep. And he's going to be a player for them.
Won the time trial on his first day on the job at St Kilda. Yep.
So did I, Kelly.
Great, Jack.
2006.
Well, he might end up with a 3-time premiership medals hanging around his neck, Jack. You never know.
Oh, it was a porky pie, actually.
Bedford, eyes for the footy, takes on the big man in Marshall. Stocker fires it out. They've got the numbers, but it's been intercepted by Riccardi. Right place, right time, the skipper.
Nice little 15-metre torpedo there from Riccardi. Just got it on the boot. The ability to get forward from Toby Green as well. Puts himself in the right place at the right time.
He's going around the corner, but they've actually had a few shots at goal now from those little dinky kicks inside forward 50.
Shows good vision, just the ability to find a mark like that.
Playing game number 220. That wasn't dinky. What was that, Jared?
That was a mongrel.
Okay, from dinky to mongrel. It didn't work.
Didn't work.
Wilkie to reset for the Saints. Left foot 30-metre pass was effective to Marshall.
Game's gone into a bit of a hiatus, but it just feels that the Saints have just snuck themselves back into a competitive position. If they can just drag one more goal back, maybe two, they're going to be right in this at half-time.
19 points down at quarter time. They've narrowed it to 13 points. Good running football. Sharman, can he access the footy? Buckley. Always, as soon as he grabbed that, he knew he was heading for the line.
That's professional. You like seeing that, just the courage to know, well, the boundary's there. It's a fast play, so I need to slow the play up with a stoppage. Now they can reset behind the ball again, the Giants, and then allows them to strengthen up as well.
Whitfield's had 13, as has Tom Green. And 12 for Hill and Bonner. Kelly. And passes to the foot of a teammate who got one high. A hair of Peatling on the bottom of that pack, it is. Marshall tangles him up and tries to delay the release as far as he can.
Wasn't it?
It really was. Peatling, short. Ash. Goes back defensively to Buckley. Filling the main defensive role now after a sickening head clash that saw Taylor subbed out of the game in the first quarter and an 8-minute break in play. He was conscious, he was talking, as Jason McCartney told us. He's been well taken care of at the hospital in Canberra. Battle. The intercept. Good to go back. Now goes into the corridor, makes it hard for Sinclair. Coming out the other way is Daniels, having a real impact. Whitfield, dangerous to be in his hands, drives it forward. Good float. Mark not paid, falls to Toby Green. Mops up and finishes to Toby.
Brett Daniels said his role was to protect the corridor.
Yeah.
And a missed turn, a turnover kick there. Goes over the head of Sinclair, and Daniels is exactly where he needs to be. He's the player that's making sure the Saints can't come through there, gets the turnover, makes a smart decision. And for the absolute life of me, this is a mark every day of the week to Capman. But then, small forward, you ask him to be at the toes. Toby Green's pretty good at it.
Yeah, Whitfield again just kicking it inside. There's the mark. That should have been paid, Jack, but if you're a junior watching out there and your coach says you don't have to be dominant on your left side or your non-preferred, well, just have a look at Toby Green there. That's why you need to be able to kick both sides of the body. Pressure's coming from the right, you can go to the left.
Margin back out by 19 points, and here they come again. This is Tom Green, after Toby Green's kicked a couple in this quarter. Igniting countless attacks now, these Giants. Halloran, high ball, Peatling's there. Couldn't protect the drop zone battle.
They've made some mistakes, the Saints.
Haven't they?
Every time they've got themselves back into the game, They have just produced a blunder of really basic standards.
It's been handballing as well. It's
handballs, couple of kicks inside the forward 50, just horrible stuff. And yet they've worked really hard to get themselves back in.
So it keeps this ball camped deep inside 50 for the home side. Another ball up.
It's always good to look at these stoppages. Who's working with who? How are the Giants trying to create a free? Toby Green and Bedford worked together before.
Margin was 19 at quarter time. It's that now. Under the pump, the Saints defence. Ross tackled to the turf. And again, a tangle of arms and legs. Questions asked, umpire says no, so we'll reset. Another stoppage, same spot.
Another fumbled handball there, just...
Well, the battle of Ruckman, Marshall is well on top of Big Briggs, and that's saying something. He's having a terrific season, as is Marshall, but he's one Saint that's on top. That's 50. He's just slammed him into the deck after he's taken a mark.
Shoulder looks okay, which is good news for Caminiti as the Saints drive the ball down the near wing, but in perfect position is Himmelberg. To Buckley. Where was there if required? Buckley didn't need the assistance. Outside there is Daniels, showing his frustration as he tosses Big Rowan Marshall. That is a mismatch to the ground. He will have to go, which he likes to do. The short ball you saw from behind the goal is what he was looking for, but he turned it over to Buckley. Another 2-on-1.
Just don't know whether they're trying to pinch the kick off in between four Giants defenders. There's the one there for Brad Hill. Like, if they've got numbers there, your numbers must be somewhere else. So potentially just stop with the ball and allow your numbers to catch up, or just turn your head a little bit. Are your numbers on the offside of the ground and start to take the ball in that direction?
Well, you saw it, didn't it, from behind the goals. He only missed the kick by about a metre, and that was enough to turn it over.
Well, that's been the story of the Saints afternoon, the 1 metre mistakes, whether it be defensive or in attack.
Ross on the switch.
Which means it's pretty fixable. So if you're a Saints fan, oughtn't be giving up hope just yet. This is a very winnable game, but there's a few things that need to be adjusted between now and the start of the third quarter.
This time the kick from here was good to steal. Ross, a little chipping ball. It'll work out to Battle. Wanganeen-Milera is drifting forward, but Battle elects to just drive it long right to the top of the square. It's a tough one for the forwards.
It's a great camera shot, that one from behind the goals, where you can just see Brad Hill working the whole way across the ground just to get a little 15-metre kick. The ability now just to see players up the ground. What are they doing to create space for themselves? What are they doing to create space for someone else? The Giants are obviously going to go wide here because that's where their numbers are set up.
Giants kicked the first 3 of this contest, set up that lead, and they've maintained it as we fast approach half-time. Iden down the line. Briggs over the shoulder wins the free. Against Marshall. Intriguing ruck battle. O'Halloran, Kelly, back to O'Halloran. Shanks the kick, but it might come off here. Green tries to say he claimed it. The umpire says yes.
Just difference in handballing quality. Yeah. The ability to hit those targets, not have to stop and wait for the ball behind you. Gives you a free opportunity, and I'm going to say that kick was directed to Toby Green.
Okay.
I think he had a bit of a look inside. I don't know whether it's a great kick, but it got there.
Hello. On the bounce, did it, or did it get there? Clean.
I believe the players always.
Jack Revolt. He's kicked 2 already this quarter. Toby loads up. It's a monster kick, and it's offline. Just a misfire to the left. His eyes lit up.
You're out.
Quarter-time margin has been maintained at 19 points by the Giants. 3 goals apiece this term. Owen's got a couple, as does Toby Green. Wilkie. Hill on the lead. See the ground he's covering that Jack Revolt was talking about with that behind the goal shot. Spreads it out wide and effectively to Battle.
That's a good kick. He's had 15 possessions in this term, Hill. He's been good, but he's been involved in a couple of turnovers which have been costly.
Good kick.
Perfect kick from Wanganeen-Milera to Higgins. Plays on. Sets sail for home. Owens is there again. Just held off Buckley, who's getting a touch frustrated. And Mitch Owens can line up for number 3.
He'll go around on the left here again and hopefully kick the goal, but just found himself in a great position there. Just that kick from Wanganeen-Milera. Like they're valuing hitting Higgins there, and then...
Gee, we've seen some funny around the body attempts. There's been about 4 or 5 misses. Unfortunately, that's the worst of the lot from Mitch Owens.
That's a D-cell when you're chipping with a golf club.
Yeah,
absolutely. Duffed it, basically. So we've seen a few players catching the wrong side of the ball, and it's sort of the fat side of the ball, and it goes to the side that it should never miss on.
Well, Jack, you spoke to us about aliens in the pre-match. These skill errors. Hard to explain. As the Giants look to go from end to end. Hogan, leader in the Coleman with 17, including one this afternoon. Sees something he likes, puts it into space. They come in sideways, Steele. Sinclair wedges the kick over the top. Gets to Sharman just in time. A turnover. Ash marks in front of Hill, and he wants to go. He's got loose man inside 50. Now the third option, not the best option. A grubber. It might come off. O'Halloran, Ware, twisting, turning on the left. He's just got to send it to the top of the goal square. And it's fisted over by Cordy.
Just going back to that Owens shot at goal, to me, I think if you're a good right footer as he is, from that position you're 100% better off going with your right foot with a boomerang. Just aim it at the far goal post and it'll swing rather than trying to execute on the left.
Briggs and Marshall battle. Ross, slick hands. Windhager, the no look over the top. Kelly tracks it back, gets away from Sharman, a touch too easily. And they drive it inside with dangerous area again. Big fist comes from behind, and the Saints defenders managed to just keep it in. Wilson, one of the line, but just was a touch uncertain.
Real boomerang or a
left foot?
Left foot?
Yeah. When the coaches tell the kids to teach them how to kick on their left foot, then they start to think that they're as good on their left as they are on their right. But it's a player preference there. I just think that his technique was poor in terms of he looked slow through the ball. You still need to really hit it as though it's a 20-metre out shot that we did before.
Kelly, perfect to Toby Green. He'll have another shot for goal.
Rinse and repeat sort of centre forward here. You're going to see all it needs to go is 15 metres and you get your shot on goal. Gives you time. He's just given a little thumbs up to the bench there, so clearly they've let him know that there's less than 30 seconds to go, and the captain will go back here and make sure this is the last possession of this half of footy.
6, 6 and 6 from this area for Toby. He's kicked 2 goals, 1 as the skipper to take it out to a 25-point half-time margin. 42 out.
6-6-6 still.
Well, the number of the devil, and sort of a setup there for Toby. Good. So it was 19-point lead to the Giants at quarter time. They've maintained that into the half-time break. Toby Green's got a couple, as has Mitch Owens. He's had some highlights and some lowlights. At half-time in Canberra, the Giants lead the Saints by 19 points. Toby Green's got a couple, as does Mitch Owens.
Big 10 minutes coming up for the Saints here, Jack. If they're going to, cause an upset victory, they've got an opportunity. The best player for the Giants is out of the defensive area, their best defensive player. Let me clarify that. And he is one of the best defenders in the game. But the pressure.
Yeah. Well, the Saints have done it. They did it last week against the Tigers, and some of the stats are flicking up through here. But contested ball last week, plus 15, clearances plus 8. This is second half, and a pressure rating of 208. That first half, -2 contested ball, -3 clearance, and pressure rating of 175. Now, the Giants are at 172, so there's not a lot of pressure on. So if the Saints want to get up and going, which is in the contest of the game, then they will be able to get their game flow up and going.
Siren sounds. The Tsunami's ready to go again. Second half in Canberra. Briggs gets the tap. Down to no one in particular. Callaghan hunts it. Ross got him across the shoulder. Umpire step play on. Now Burns. Windhager in the 1-2. Burns back to Steele with the clearance. Just almost barrels it inside 50. Held it like a torp. It was a scrubby ball. Giants through Ash. Bouncing ball. Just getting a hand on it. Coming the other way was Cadman. Sinclair. So now St Kilda get a chance to steady through Higgins at half forward. Immediately players on. He's got a man in the hole. And he hits him nicely.
Good work rate from Jack Steele there. He's been one of the shining lights for the Saints so far, as he always is, the St Kilda captain. But good to see some of the smaller forwards for the Saints getting involved. They haven't had great days so far, but this man always steps up, and this is a big moment for St Kilda. We know they charged hard in the second half against the Tigers last week, and no better way than putting this one straight through the big sticks as the skip.
Some missed opportunities in front of goal from both teams. Steele, 16 disposals in the first half to get the Saints off to a perfect start. Strikes it nicely. The local lad, as he got the legs, the goal umpire's down. It'll be a tough one to call.
We're due for a review.
We haven't had one today.
Haven't had one. Didn't have one in the first half last night.
Can you imagine if you got through a whole game without a review? Oh.
Paradise.
The goal umpire fell or was shoved.
You could review this because he was face down on the ground.
Hard to call from there.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the whole of the ball has passed the back of the goal line before being touched. Decision on the scoreboard.
That's the start the Saints were after through Steele, and they bring it back. As it's all giving the official mark off. And back to a 13-point margin.
Interesting vision on the review. Not sure what the goal umpire was doing a metre inside the line, but nevertheless...
Body on the line.
Body on the line, yeah, absolutely. But look, this is a turnover. And it's the most important stat in footy right now, and that's a classic scenario where you can go from looking like you're in real trouble to looking like you've got holes everywhere in your attacking area, and they found that hole, and the captain nailed it.
So he had to work really hard, the skipper Jack Steele, but it got there in the end just.
Thought the goal umpire was going to take one of the great hangers of all time.
Set up nice.
Positioning himself, wasn't he, Jack?
He wanted to get involved.
And Jack, I mean, Ross Lyon at half-time last week, down by 22, they won by 7. They were down by 19, yet to hit the front in this contest. Can he do it again, Ross Lyon? Oh, Hill steals it, runs to 48 and puts it through. The Saints are starting to wear them down.
Only a small sample size of this half of football, but already we've seen a score from turnover, which we know is the best way to score in AFL football. But then you see a score from stoppage. So Marshall's had the better of Briggs today, but that pressure there, that man against Steele, Seb Ross hasn't had a great start, puts pressure on, and Brad Hill, who's leading possessions for the St Kilda Football Club, finishes really nicely as he breaks through 50 here. You need to take these opportunities to get yourself back into the game, and they're right there.
So what did you point out to us in the pre-match? Ross Lyon said about aliens. They went out, they got changed, they came back as aliens.
Well, we'll have to cross down to Nick Dalsano at some point. Maybe there was been a UFO land at half-time again.
So they don't only just land in Norwood, they land in the nation's capital as well.
That's Area 52 up there.
You're being a bit harsh on ET. Could have been a smooth mover with a pill in hand.
A little bit of a fumble there, just a couple of really good tackles. Broken tackles in the first half, sticking them in this third quarter.
Important moments in the game now as Sinclair takes the ball into the turf.
Even that one there, just Sinclair, I think he had a little look to see whether he could get out, but he just tucked it under the wing and just made sure that it was a secondary stoppage.
So the opening two through Steele and Hill narrows the 19-point half-time margin back to 7 points.
Much more venom in the tackles. Ross has asked the question. Yeah. He wanted to know if anybody wanted to lay a tackle in this game at all, I reckon, at half-time, because there's so many broken tackles in the first half, and yet now they really mean business.
Another opportunity for the Saints, moving the ball forward into the middle of Manuka. Owens has had an interesting day, some great moments, some tough moments. Burns back by hand, they're dominating possession. Early stages here, the Saints.
Clean possession as well. Missed handballs in the first half, but already we've seen handballs under pressure that are hitting the target.
Caminiti wants something short, nothing presents, so he drops it long to the square, looking for the tall timber, gets out the back. Giants had the area covered. Kelly takes his time. Check side round the corner. Thought his way through it, did Kelly. Brown, Hogan, back to Kelly.
Much better from the Saints, corralling them, getting inside the 1 metre space that they didn't do in the first half.
I reckon Hogan thought he was going the other way then for a second. He sort of had a bit of a look around, thought, why are we going that way?
Just an update from Manuka. I haven't seen any aliens to start this third quarter, but what I am seeing But what I am seeing is the Saints hitting some targets, kicking the ball at 75% to start this third quarter, and it's been different.
Dow, they're energised, aren't they? They're revitalised. Callahan gives it off to the run of Ash. Through the centre they go. Unzips St Kilda straight through the centre. Right. He goes for home, and he's offline.
That's the thing, is that you can have a lot of the ball, and I reckon every supporter's seen it with their football club where they've had a lot of the ball and then all of a sudden someone just rips it down the other end and they get a score. So you've got to make sure they're staying on the whole time, the Saints, because they've got the sway of the momentum at the moment.
Battle into the shadows to Burns. Glances towards the corridor, wants that area. Nothing really presents, so he takes his distance. Low ball forward. Away from King. Hill. Owens delays the hand pass. In front of Caminiti was a tough one. Owens again trying to apply the tackle. They still press, but the Giants, clever hand pass chain into the middle of the ground. Now they'll rebound. Bedford had a good first half. Tom Green, he's got Brown out wide, uses him. There's options galore. If Brown seizes them, he does. And Cadman was calling, kick it to me for a good 10 seconds, and Brown did just that.
Great transition again off the half-back line and again off a St Kilda handball that went to ground, which gave them the opportunity to mop it up, and that's what they did. And their transition was superb. Just needs to finish now from the #1 draftee from a couple of years ago.
8 goals in 4 matches this season for Aaron Cadman. Debuted in Gather Round last year, just to calm things down a bit for the Giants. Important kick on the left, and he sends it right through the middle. Good answer by the Giants.
I'm just going to ask the question, is why is there 3 Giants forwards free ahead of the ball? Aggressive defence from St Kilda trying to get up the ground, but just the ability to come through, and little handballs there can create. That there is smooth, but it creates this movement where St Kilda defenders are stuck in 2 minds. Do I come up and pressure the guy with the ball, or do I retreat to go back to where my man potentially could be? It creates uncertainty ahead of the ball.
No, it's great vision. The player that went first to go up to Toby Bedford didn't get there, didn't impact enough, and then he just created the outnumber against him in many respects.
Yeah, the word impact's so important there, because if you don't impact the ball at all, then you just continue to flow on and you create the overlap for the other team.
It's the old Chinese checkers.
Cadman now into the ruck, up against Marshall. Sinclair.
I like that Chinese checkers call. That's very good. I like that.
Sinclair wins the obvious free to Windhager. Back in from suspension. Sees something you like at a half forward, and that's Marshall. Short, sharp, kicks. Ooh, just slips through the hands. It'll come back. They can regather and go again. Here's Butler. Quiet afternoon so far.
It's been quiet for a few of the St Kilda forwards, like Caminiti, 4 touches. King 2, Butler 1. Sharman's been playing forward as well. He's had 3, so they just need to get their hands on the ball at the moment, the Saints forwards.
You see there's taping on Caminiti's shoulder that he sprung in that second turn.
Yeah, and he'll put the right arm up here. Oh, he's going to go with it at both. Does the Hawkins. Flung in a tackle is Windhager. Biggest margin was the Giants by 25 points early stages of the second. Saints closed within 7. Caminiti and Cadman in the ruck again. Butler fires it out. Still, little toe poke. Canelio gets it out of the dangerous territory. Which way does it bounce and who does it favour? Bonner tackled by Harvey Thomas.
Woodfield up to 19 disposals. Steele, same number for the Saints, and the goal this term. Advantage paid for the hold on Windhager. Sinclair pokes it forward. The lead comes from Caminiti. Iden does well, as does Ash. Smooth mover, this man. Bites a bit off with the kick. Sets a task for Peatling, who does pretty well. Sees the boundary and heads in that direction.
It was great defence by Connor Iden there, just to shut that down. He's got so much pace, he's got height, he's got strength. He's a genuine tyro down in that defence.
Jack Fingleton scoreboard in the background. Originally came from the MCG. So shove it forward any way they can. Perryman, important little ball's effective.
Just even there, Perryman turns back to the corridor to know that his numbers are going to be there, and this is where they get aggressive. The Giants through hand to get it out to the opposite side of the ground.
Ash, Himmelberg, Iden. Just getting himself out of trouble. There's Himmelberg. Now they've got a free man. O'Halloran just punches the ball forward. Thomas. Riccardi, good build-up from the Giants.
I think the Giants would like Finn Callaghan to get back involved. He was dominant in the first quarter. Just been pretty quiet since then.
Oh, big aggressive use of the body from Hogan. They fall everywhere, and Jesse marked strongly, which he's threatened to do all day.
That's a big boy mark, that one. Just stood in the hole, big contested mark. Been the form key forward of the competition. I love that full stretch.
Plays on, changes the grip. Seen many misses like that today, and another one bangs into both posts. Not easy to do.
Just don't know why you wouldn't. If you've got you're not going to sneak out there an extra metre by running in, setting up for a drop punt, then running out like that. You should just set up for a around the corner kick if that's what he's going to do.
He changed the ball in his hand.
Yeah, just there's more room for error there.
Sinclair to a 2-on-1. Charging through, here's Wilson. He's a speed demon. Shanks the kick, still might work in their favour. Filippo goes without it. It's a debutant who's come on, Hugo Garcia getting involved. So there has been a sub made. Sharman retreats. Sinclair, Membry in space. Another foray forward, and an important one at that. As they cling on in this contest, Filippo surrounded by orange jumpers. O'Halloran, Perryman assesses, goes inboard, it's risky. Ross gets an important hand involved. Canelio hurries the kick. Daniels takes off, has a run, kicks to advantage of Thomas, and Thomas out in front of Hogan. Hogan will get another crack at it.
Yeah, a couple of Giants just waltzed through a wall of St Kilda players there without shutting the ball down. We're just chasing on the sub. Hasn't come up on our stat sheet just yet. But, I mean, the venom of the St Kilda tackle just deserted them for a couple of minutes.
And the skill of Brent Daniels, like just to get out of that sort of out of congestion, hit that kick, doesn't break stride, and then young man in his fourth game has the ability just to lower the eyes and kick it to your key forward. It's an easy mark, an easy shot on goal.
To skip a couple of goals ahead on the leader of the Coleman. It'll be the furthest thing from his mind on that stutter approach. Nice. Lost his way.
And Cal, it appears that it's Dan Butler that's going to be subbed out for the Saints. He's only had the one disposal, and he was frustrated moments earlier that he didn't get another one. Hugo Garcia on for his first run at AFL level. I've seen people jog onto the ground off the bench. He sprinted on. He's ready to go.
A couple of AFL games, kicked a couple of goals, 36 touches in total. And in those two games, 22 tackles for Hugo. So keep an eye out for him. Stocker, those distinctive tattoos on his quads and hamstrings.
Filippo's an interesting one. I would like to see him potentially play a little bit on ball now. Start to just throw him through the middle. He's just got that little bit of game-changing ability. He's a high draft pick. Maybe get him up as a high forward and get him running through stoppage.
That was Hugo Garcia, the debutant. Marshall just trying to wrestle with Briggs. Not easy to do. Tom Green, the powerful one, sends it forward. And fisted away across the line by Zane Cordy, the Ocean Grove Flyer. In fact, it stays in play. Canelio, Daniels. And he's drawn a free kick.
Bit of a standoff there. I think everyone wanted to go out. Both sides there, but this man here has got high football IQ, just remains in the contest, knows his role.
Saints with 2-1 in this third term. Daniels into the pocket. Oh, Brown! My goodness me, Callum Brown.
We've had some close attempts at mark of the year.
Jamara last night was
a ripper.
That had a bit of Gary Moorcroft about it nearly on Brad Johnson.
Didn't it? Oh, John, I would love that you mentioned that, John.
I got a good run last night, which I enjoy watching the footy at home.
Marshall Couldn't control it. Peatling fires it out to Daniels. He loves the snap. He usually knows where the two big sticks are as well, but not on this occasion.
That was mark of the year for Brown.
It was.
Big hand.
17 points.
Well, it started with a flurry, the Saints, and then they've just lost a handle on this game. So it's got to get to the other end of the ground and through the sticks again. You've got to bring back their venom in the tackle when they lose the ball.
They need a handball receive here. This is part of the game where you get it held up. Just need a handball receive to get some speed.
Ross, Filippo. There is a couple of handball receives, and Battle completely misses Bonner. It's an errant hand pass. Himmelberg just taps it in front of himself, plays it well, drives it forward to Thomas. A bit too much on it for O'Halloran. Has a second crack to Xavier.
Personal involvement there for young Garcia. Tackle.
This is the attempted mark. Keep an eye on Brown. Oh, Cordy backed into him. Free kick the way of Marshall. Sends a high ball forward to the outer flank. Buckley, and well done. King hasn't had many opportunities, but now he gets his chance. Does Max?
Saw that one between the knees there, Max King. He needs to get to as many aerial contests as possible. He's a very good player on the lead. We know he's quick, we know he's strong, but he needs to find himself in as many contests down the line. At the moment, he's probably a couple of metres off those contests. Have been Caminiti that's been just in front of him, so he sort of finds himself 1.5 kicks away from the ball. This needs to go through for him to get a bit of confidence back in his game.
One kick, one handball, for one behind so far for Max. Hooks it immediately, and it won't register a score at all.
Jesus, radar hasn't been on, has it, Jack?
He didn't kick it well last week as well, but you just got to find a way. You've got to find a way to get yourself involved in the game, and it doesn't have to be kicks, marks or handballs. It could be tackling, it could be getting him in the ruck, it could be just finding yourself as an aerial contest.
Wilkie puts his body on the line. Peatling tries to keep it back in play. Here's Garcia. Grew up in Bulla, a suburb near the Melbourne airport. Mum and Dad and the family jumped in the car this morning, drove all the way to Canberra to watch Hugo Garcia play his first game in AFL. Briggs thumps it clear. Bedford. Over the head it goes of Cadman.
That's better defence. He left his man and he impacted.
Cordy swoops to Burns. Heard the voice, wants to go back inboard to Hill. He was taken high by Green afterwards.
Lucky, because Brad Hill nearly took that advantage there, and it was going to be another turnover back to the Giants from Stephen Caniglio.
It was after he got rid of it, so Hill with the free kick, and he uses it beautifully to Garcia, who gives it to Bonner, and this time King. A little bit of separation on Buckley. And he wants to give it off. It was an interesting looking kick, rather casual in fact, where O'Halloran.
That's a throw.
That is a throw, but Ware says, oh, well, we'll keep going. No whistle from the umpire. Bounces off the chest. Riccardi, a long way from home. Backing back. Callahan. Oh, that's brute force. And still they go. Whitfield takes his time, and Garcia takes him on.
Great chase from the young fella there. You've already seen him on the bottom of 2 packs, and then he's just chased down Lockie Whitfield, who was hesitating and obviously didn't have an option up ahead.
Let's have a look at this little creative handball.
Oh, yeah, Canberra Raiders would love that. Oh, that's beautiful.
The fist was trailing.
What about Lockie? Look, Whitfield, he was on the back. He looked up to say, who are you? I've never seen you before. There's a real scrap on now. Halfway through. Closing in on 3/4 time, halfway through this quarter, and so margin's still 17, Jack.
Yeah, a few different people around this stoppage here. See Sharman's come up to stoppage from the forward line. Garcia's up there as well. Obviously trying a few different things around the ball Ross line.
Windhager outside of the foot into the middle of the ground at Manuka. Owens casting the role of ruckman in that particular encounter. O'Halloran to Ware, good user of the footy. Brown on the lead, could have taken mark of the season moments ago. Sees it across the line.
Young Ware's done some good stuff on that far wing there. Reminds me a lot of David McKay from Adelaide back in the day. Just the same sort of body type, but knows his role, plays on the width, gets involved when he needs to, goes back and helps out defensively.
Keeping Nick Haynes out of the team at the moment, who was named as an emergency.
Just speaking about players that aren't quite in this team, Cal Ward played in the VFL prior to this. He did his AC join in that opening round. He was told it was going to be 8 weeks to recover. He's back in a month, so wait for him to come back into the team as well in the coming weeks, which is really exciting. Not that the midfield needs any bolstering, but it's just great to have more depth.
And without Taylor, with that concussion situation, they take on Carlton next week, then Brisbane and Sydney, the Giants. They've got a tough run coming up. Ball to be won in the middle of the ground. It's won by Windhager, who just bombs it forward, didn't really look and kicked it straight at Buckley.
I don't think anyone's surprised that Cal Ward's come back
a
month early.
Wanted to play in the seniors. And they said, we'll give you a run in the twos first.
Whitfield.
50 metres, next umpire. Full stand.
Good stand. I heard the direction.
I think it was against Philippa. He sort of came into that protected area as well.
Whitfield sees something forward of the footy. Short to Toby Green.
This has been the difference. Yeah, the difference between the Giants and the Saints. The Giants have found these small marks. Here's another one.
And that's pinpoint, as you were talking about, to Kelly, Jack.
They just probe and just find little marks. They don't. It doesn't have to go further than 15 metres. Sometimes they're under 15, but you got to make the umpire's got to make the decision. Then is that the Saints have sort of tried to pull the trigger on fast leads that are well guarded, and that creates turnover. But the Giants have just found the free man. As the sides fall back, free men start to pop up.
Kelly to make it 2 in a row for the Giants after the Saints kick the first 2 of the term. Just uses the ball beautifully, this man, and just drifts it home. Does Kelly, and they again stretch the Saints.
Just he's a surprise kick, just good foot. You can just tell when a player, and a lot of the time it's left footers that have got that sort of really methodical, pure action. But you can see here, just a little point from Kelly was nothing more than just a little bit of just hand signal down to his left-hand side there. Toby Green saw it, kicked it in, and it was undefendable, and a great finish for the Giants. Saints haven't taken their opportunities.
This is what's been so impressive about the Giants all season. When they've been challenged, as they were in the first 10 minutes of this quarter, they find a way to reassert themselves, to just get their game back on their terms, and then pushed away. I think aided and abetted by, I think, St Kilda, who gave plenty in the first 10 minutes, but haven't been able to sustain it.
Kicked the first 2 of this term, Jared.
Yep.
And got it back to within 7. The Giants with the last 2. Have they got another one up their sleeve? Can they keep going? Owens fumbles it over the line. No, flicks it back, in fact. Iden. Whitfield. Callahan. Wilson missed it. Garcia's in there fighting, scrapping hard. Well done.
The other impressive thing for the Giants is what they've done over the first month of footy. So they won the first game, centre-bounce scores. Next game, transition scores. Re-entry scores the following week, and stoppage scores. Today's been turnover. 52 points from turnover against 17 to St Kilda.
Marshall on all fours, holding Whitfield in. And it'll be a free kick. Marshall wants to move it quickly. He's kicked it straight to all the orange jumpers. And Iden says thanks. Gives it off to Buckley. Short Ash. They want to go by hand. By Halloran. Dribbles the kick.
A clever kick.
In fact, it was Himmelberg, rather. 2-0 Halloran. Garcia. Himmelberg. Ash. Turnover City. Interesting handball. Whitfield. Fighting and scrapping. Callahan. They work their way forward. Green forced to tackle Cordy. Wilson.
Yours.
Great kick from Wilson.
Hill.
Stand.
Stop start on the build-up. Bradley Hill. And out in front, strong mark taken by the youngster in Filippo.
Just go back to Cordy there. He's done a couple of times this quarter where he's left his direct opponent to influence the ball in front of him. It takes a lot of courage to come out and make sure that, you know, there isn't anyone else behind you to help you in case that ball bounces over to your man. But as is the nature of team defence these days, that's a requirement there. And another big moment for another young Saint here to hit the scoreboard and keep them in the game.
So Mateus Filippo, a couple of goals already this season. On the left, he's kicked it into the man on the mark in Whitfield. And they can sting them on the turnover here. Kelly cruises, assesses the options, goes down the line. Awkward half volley there for Green, who's tackled by Stocker.
I think Sam Taylor going out of your defences, what does that do to your intercept game? Well, Himmelberg, Perryman and Iden have all had 7, 7 and 6 intercept possessions today, so they're covering for the loss of Sam Taylor.
Hold. Marshall's the recipient of the free kick. Really high entry towards the pocket. Spills to ground. King's in the contest. Runs straight into Lockie Ash, who doesn't let him out.
Can see what they're trying to do in that contest there. You got Jack Higgins in there trying to block for Max King and get him a free jump at the ball, but just gets caught in the muck a little bit and isn't there to crumb.
Caminiti out of the ruck. Falls to Higgins. Look for Filippo. Cadman throws the boot at him. Play on touch ball. All umpires calling it Bedford. When he gets the footy, things seem to go well for the Giants. Hogan just hurt his elbow in that contest. Keep an eye on that. Spread it out wide. Oh, Daniels goes over the top of Burns, who threw himself at the feet. Spot on you. Just favouring that left arm, Jesse Hogan. So they're building up again, Callahan.
This is a short possession game.
Brown's deep in the square for another big hanger attempt. Go down in that area. He'll be behind the contest here. But Jesse's elbow is fixed up pretty sharpish. Marshall knocks him to the ground and Jesse pops back up and says, who's got the footy?
That's another great kick there. I think Callahan just popped that into the space where it went straight over the top of Rowan Marshall's head. He knew exactly where Hogan had space behind him and created a little pocket in what could be a really congested area usually.
1 goal 2 for Jesse Hogan. To take it back out to a 29-point margin. Game high. Stutters straight through the middle. The Giants kick away again. Jesse's got a couple.
Yeah, he's a real chance to become an elite player, Finn Callahan. Lots of frustration for Ross. He knows that they were back in this game only 10 minutes ago. And they've been the authors of their own demise in many respects. But as Jack said, he just saw a little pocket there, put the hands out, blocked his space, and took a pretty easy mark in the finish.
Hogan had his hand out there as well. We saw one previously with Kelly. Had his hand out. Hogan just had it there too as well.
Wanganeen-Milera has got to come over the top there as well. I mean, that is just too easy for the Saints' defence.
What do you make of the stutter step run up for Jesse Hogan?
Well, I think it's working for him at the moment. He's probably tried a few times over the years to iron it out, but he's back to it and he's having a terrific season.
Marshall bombs it long. Can I get a quick reply here? Higgins swivels around, sees Filippo, gets a little bit of space, but now he's got to beat a couple and attack goes to defence. Burns, Owens, met heavily, Perryman. Filippo again. Temple City at the moment. Tom Green over his head. Thumped forward by Thomas. Left himself open. Got crunched. Callahan caught. Questions asked.
Got to be smart here, not more time on the clock.
Still rewarded. Looking for a mark. They need one. Caminiti flies. Giants should be able to clear the way. Himmelberg went up one-handed. In fact, it was Hogan rather. 3/4 time. And it's the biggest lead of the afternoon. The Giants by 29 points. They've led right from the word go. They kicked the first 3 and they've maintained that lead all the way through. King looks a little bit proppy behind play. Hasn't had an impact on the contest so far. One more quarter to go. Back with more after this. Well, first The Giants defender Sam Taylor was taken to hospital with a nasty head injury. Now the Saints forward, Max King, in that last passage of play, just before the three-quarter time siren, appears to have hurt his left knee. It's just the landing there, the jarring of his left knee, and he was in the hands of trainers as he made his way to the huddle at three-quarter time. Giants with a 29-point lead, 10-10-70 to St Kilda, 6-5-41. Let's get down to Nick Dal Santo with the latest. What is Max in that huddle, Nick? No, we're not hearing from...
Well, concern down here for the Saints as Max King late in that third quarter went down with what looks to be a left knee concern. He didn't join Ross Lyon and his teammates for that three-quarter time address. He went into the rooms with the medical staff. We'll wait for some more clarification, but they already have used their sub as Dan Butler was substituted out during that third quarter. Hugo Garcia came on for his first run at AFL level, but concerned. 29-point margin, possibly no Max King for the last quarter.
That's a blow for Ross Lyon. What's he saying to his troops?
Oh, I think it's just take risks. So you go and get Riley Bonner for a reason, and that's for him to have as many handball receives as possible, get into his hands as much as possible. Wanganeen-Milera hasn't had his usual output today, only 13 possessions in three quarters. So just give him the ball. Give them the ball. Run freely. Run handball receives. Try and get it out the back of the Giants. You've got to score, and you've got to score quick.
Well, it's got to start from the centre, and what they've been doing in that centre bounce has been pretty good, the Saints. As much as Briggs is an outstanding ruckman, I reckon Rowan Marshall has well and truly has his measure. Not the hit-outs, but the clearances. Look at that number. That's a world record for him, and he's really dominating. He's got down and got dirty a number of times. He's pushed into the back half, and with success. He's having a terrific game. And he'll need to continue on in that fashion if they're to win.
So that's on the midfield of the Saints. Rowan Marshall's had 13 clearances. St Kilda's had 23. Yeah. So the Giants are +8 in clearances at the moment. So it comes down to Steele, Windhager, potentially throw some of the young kids through there and try and get a spark.
Kicked the first two of the third term St Kilda to get a move on, but the Giants replied with the next three. So Saints need early inroads in the start of the final term in Canberra. Still haven't lost a term for the year, the Giants. High ball forward, and that is not what the Saints need, because Riccardi just bustles his way into the pack and marks directly in front.
That's a great mark. Just those sort of sky balls as they go in, pressure kicks. The ability as a key forward to just stick your hands up and find the right position to jump and still mark it at a reasonably high point is a good skill to have.
Kicked 8 goals in his first 3 games to Jake Riccardi. Nice follow through. Hammer blow for the Saints. Game high margin for the Giants.
Well, you saw them working in tandem there. Hogan took the front spot. Riccardi came in behind, which was important because if you have a look at Wilkie, he shoves out Hogan out of the contest, but that's all he's worried about. He's only worried about his man. He's not worried about the ball. There goes Hogan. In comes Riccardi. And it's a great double act.
It goes back to St Kilda's inability to sort of get it out of that sort of centre part of the ground. They had plenty of opportunities to get it out of there.
Good body work by Riccardi. He just gets rid of his opponent.
They just always respond, Jared, don't they? They just always respond. We said at half-time, Ross Lyon fired them up. Saints kicked the quick 2, got within 7 points. And the Giants just put their foot down, find another gear, and they've rattled off the last 4 goals in a row. And they might do it again here. They're pressing forward through Tom Green. Piercing pass into the pocket. Riccardi was there again. Interesting but effective by Cordy. Battle. Burns. Stabs it low. Garcia.
Out to advantage that time by the
Burns.
Briggs.
The up and under. Buckley. Boundary throw in.
Just the handballing difference between the ability to hit targets from the Giants and the inability from the Saints at crucial moments.
It's been a standout today.
Yeah, but it breaks the game up for you as an offense, but it also you just get those sort of dirty turnovers and they hurt you going back the other way big time.
Last 4 goals of the match for GWS.
Here he is, the big fella, Kieran Briggs. 7th highest rated player in the competition right now. Hasn't been his finest day, but he started this term well.
Head-to-head with Rowan Marshall. Briggs wins if anyone there. Canelio swoops on at Whitfield. So many options. The Giants. Peatling's been good. He doesn't make any real great contact. And he goes as far as Stocker, who's given it to Hill, who's been one of, not the best for the Saints. Takes a bounce, moves beautifully, does Brad Hill. He's not concerned about Green behind him in the slightest as he sends it to the pocket. And that's beautiful to Marshall.
You saw Briggs get forward in the first minute of the game and take a mark. Now's when you start to get tired as a ruck. Can you, as an offensive ruck, push forward? That's a good day there as a ruckman. 20 hit-outs and 13 clearances. He'd love to get a goal here to bring his side closer.
One goal for the season for Marshall. Starts it way out right. Marking contest in the square, but the Giants shove the ball through.
Get a bit of a general gist where the ball's going to go with the last sort of few steps from anyone when you get that behind the goals footage there, behind the player footage. It just veered off to the right, and that's where the ball went.
Whitfield to Ash to Iden.
Well, it's a different looking forward line now for St Kilda with both Caminiti and King and Sharman off the ground.
And Rowan Marshall, Poppy. And Max King, as you said, off the ground. Maybe a knee complaint. Slapped forward by Briggs. That was clever. Hitting the target, Hogan. Jesse with a couple this afternoon. It takes him to 18 for the season. He's kicked 2 more than the next player in Bailey Fritsch with 16. Bombs it to the pad player in front, Stocker.
This just needs to go out the other side. Look, staying on the same side of the ground, you know that's where all the numbers have come from because the ball's been there. So, got to bring the ball out the other side of the ground just to get it. Take a risk.
Oh, Hill taken high. Play on. And that's exactly what Bradley Hill does. He has no idea what he's going to do with it. He's weaving, he's bouncing, and he's giving it straight to the opposition. Ash has been so strong across half-back to Toby Green, to Whitfield. A little bumble and fumble from the Saints, as we've seen a lot this afternoon. And Hill marks in front of Buckley. Can he make amends? He got it low, play on. Higgins not paid the mark. Big Briggs making his presence felt there.
Just confirming Max King is done for the day. He'll take no further part, so the Saints will play with a man down. And then we'll wait for more confirmation about exactly what the injury is.
Marking contest that Nick's talking about right on 3/4 time. I'm sure Higgins needed Big Briggsy to land on top of him in that contest. Windager. Now Wanganeen-Milera. Sliding it forward. Burns, another possession for Hill. He's up to 24. Kicked the goal. Just short, but Membry gets the hands underneath it like a diving slipper and takes it. Plays on Tim Membry. Sends the ball deep to the square. Big fly from the young man Wilson. He was nowhere near it. And it's out the full.
It is a different looking Saints forward line now as well. Adam Kingley spoke a quarter time that St Kilda are trying to play a bit taller in their forward line to take advantage from that. And now King being out, obviously Taylor out for the Giants early on. Maybe it's small ball, maybe just getting it along the ground, trying to get some ugly goals from your smaller forwards.
Steele kicked the opener in the second half to give the Saints a bit of a lift. Plays on now, shapes it, and again, we've seen that countless times today where the ball hasn't been met by the player hooking it around the body in the right area, Jack, and again it's floated across.
Yeah, it's alien-like behaviour up there. Sort of UFOs, we've seen plenty of sort of floating UFO kicks from those snaps around the corner, but there is a real art form to it. Further out becomes a lot harder.
Still we're deep inside 50 here for the Saints. They can't afford not to fight and scrap this one out. Bonner, almost. Owens, Hill to finish it off directly in front and clatters into the post.
Well, there's another injury concern on the boundary line. This time it's the Giants' Josh Kelly. now getting his ribs assessed. He hasn't been ruled out of the game for the remainder of it, but he's going to get further assessment.
So Nick Del Santo just joining us. Sam Taylor subbed out in the opening quarter. Game is delayed for 9 minutes for a nasty head clash. He was conscious and talking in the rooms and is being cared for at the hospital in Canberra as we speak. Hopefully all okay. Callaghan.
They're just threading their way through with little chip kicks that St Kilda seem incapable of restricting.
Brown forward with the hands in the air. Has to just go short.
There's plenty of St Kilda players just running with their back to the ball. Like you got to be aggressive here at the moment and look for turnover.
Where Himmelberg mops up the errant pass. Options galore for the team in orange. Buckley, they're just playing with the Saints at the moment. Now Iden, another short ball.
This is all important as well. You just continue to take time out of the clock. It takes away the opportunity for the Saints.
And eventually Perriman gets it to Toby Green. He hasn't had his most accurate day in front of the big sticks, but he's still got a couple, has Toby.
It's good to see him back in some form last week for the Giants. Had a quieter start to the year. We know that when he's up and going, he's the Giants' best player. They've been able to win without him playing good football, but found some form last week with 5 goals. Be nice to pop through his 3rd today.
Drifted it back, but it's a touch ball. Didn't make the distance. Hogan competes in the square. Cordy sees it across the line.
The big fella's holding his wrist. That's the one area they don't need to get an injury in with a big couple of games coming up.
So Wanganeen-Milera straight down the corridor. He's been their best player for the Saints so far, but just the 14 disposals today. Best player for the year. Another turnover. Ash Canelio. Owen's got him.
He hasn't stopped trying today, Mitch Owens. He just stays in games through his effort.
No, they needed a tackle like that to get themselves going. Here's another fellow with a potential knee problem.
And he hasn't moved. Stephen Canelio.
Just resigned, Kel, as soon as he went to ground, Canelio.
Goodness. Josh Kelly sore with ribs on the boundary line. And Sam Taylor in hospital after a really nasty head collision that saw the game pause for nearly 10 minutes in the opening quarter. Not to mention Max King off with a knee injury. Here's Hill. They need one. And Membry pops up and says, I'll take it.
Well, there's big concern behind play. Stephen Canelio at centre-half forward for the Giants has not moved.
Oh, dear.
And this has turned into a really bad day for both clubs with the injuries. Josh Kelly trying to find his way back onto the ground with ribs. Sam Taylor in hospital. And now Steve Canelio just slowly starting to get to his feet behind play.
It's just taken, from that very first sickening head clash, it's almost taken the wind out of the game. It's like someone's pricked a balloon today. Canelio's the story. All eyes are on Membry for the moment, who splits the middle and eats into that margin.
So the Saints get the goal, but at this stage doesn't look like there's any sense that they're going to come on a charge. But this one may be the biggest story of the day, because if this is season ending...
Oh, no.
Yeah. Most that
just got his foot trapped as well, didn't he? Sort of a mechanism for a syndesmosis sort of injury that we've seen, a high ankle sprain, but also you've got to look at his knee there.
Well, he did have the syndesmosis. I think it was the year he might have been named captain and he missed a whole chunk of the season.
Yeah, I think it's more likely to be the knee on this occasion.
I think we're all hoping that.
In fact, I reckon he did it in Canberra against Melbourne early in the season and missed the rest of the year with the ankle syndesmosis.
Back to a 28-point margin. Long way home for the Saints. Giants again off half-back. Chain of hand passes beautiful. Driven forward by Peatling. It just hangs and lands in the arms of Bedford.
Peatling.
He has sub 2 weeks in a row, G. Deep ball forward. Toby Green's there. Good tackle by Ross.
He's taken his chances, had 12 possessions. Half a dozen contested. He's
done some good stuff on defence, just looking for turnover. I've been impressed with what we've seen of young Garcia, who's at the bottom of the pack again today. He hasn't had a lot of possessions in the time since he's come on as sub, but he's just given something, just a bit of spark.
Good fly from the ruckman down to a couple of giants.
A couple of blokes keen to pick that ball up.
The Saints, apart from Brad Hill, have really got to lift here. He's the only one at the moment that looks to sort of is being proactive in the way that he's doing stuff. So just take some risks. Wanganeen-Milera is another one. Just you could have 10 minutes of good footy here just to get as much ball as possible.
Ross is in the area, as is Cadman.
There's been a certain level of almost acceptance that this game is gone, which that's how it's coming across. There's just been no real authority or creativity or proactivity by the Saints.
Wouldn't mind seeing some creativity from the Giants, a block or something to get a goal.
Riccardi says, I'm going to do it myself. But he couldn't.
Bit of Daniel Wells style there, nearly worked it out of the ruck.
Media release from the Bulldogs that Tom Liberatore remains without concussion symptoms this morning. However, given the concerning nature of in-game footage during the final minutes that showed Tom falling to the ground, the club's medical team has subsequently reached a decision to place in concussion protocols.
It's extraordinary. He did. Was in the ABC box last night, Howie, next door to you, that he did that media interview with Tim Hodges. Absolutely extraordinary.
And as a result, he won't be playing next week.
And Stephen Canelio, they're assessing the knee now. He's not going to come back. He's never done an ACL before, but it is the knee that is the issue.
As soon as you see the replay, Kildo, he just dropped his head. The air went out of him. You realise there was some significant issue going on, Canelio, as the Giants still maintain possession.
There's a look of resignation, wasn't it?
Where?
This is an area the Saints have got to address, that they're just giving up too many uncontested marks at the moment. Not getting their hands on the ball. The Giants are just controlling it. Making a side defend for a long time saps all your energy on defence, then allows you not to. It doesn't allow you to work on offence.
That's the blue. He hasn't made too many, this young fellow, but that time went for one too many.
Another one to Hill. In the Saints' best far and away. Disposal 28, 1 goals 2 for Brad. Burns drives it forward, hangs in the air for a long time. Buckley gave away a free kick to Higgins. They need to move the ball, move it quickly here, the Saints. Higgins does just that. Sends it deep, too much for everyone. Saints at ground level overrun the footy. Perrin will be happy to see it across the line.
Just had some players down on form today, St Kilda. Jack Sinclair hasn't had his best day today. He's been tried in the back line, midfield, and a little bit up forward.
Marshall, Kelly stripped of it. Perryman, underground handball was good, but Green, relaxed character, happy to see it over. And Garcia just finding his feet.
Whitfield's an extraordinary player, has been for a long time. He just continues to pump out the stats and run as hard as possible. And again today, knocked up another 30.
Kick. Marshall, brute strength. Himmelberg knocked down only as far as Hill. He has a sneaky look, sees what's there. He goes for Membry. Couldn't quite find him. Higgins on the bottom of the pack. Squirts out. Buckley. And Himmelberg happy to see it.
Just jumps.
Boundary line.
Yeah, so interesting the way Tim Membry jumps at the ball. It's sort of like a 2-foot jump there, and had the sit, just couldn't get high enough to soar over the pack and mark it.
Marshall, Riccardi, Filippo. Clever attempt at goal. Wonderful finish in the end by Sinclair. Some late joy for the Saints. Good finish. We'll have a look at the build-up thanks to Bunnings, and we'll see exactly what occurred here with Jack and Jared.
Well, I'm liking early Garcia's movement here on Green. He sort of creates all of a sudden this little movement down that right-hand part of screen there. Gives himself a bit of a chance to get the ball. Filippo involved. That's the important one, that handball, Jared, isn't it?
Well, it gets it out. I mean, bottom line is he's free, though. St Kilda, everyone went to the ball and let Sinclair hanging out the back. But that handball from inside to out, as you said correctly, Jack, and then the final kick, it was a ripper underneath Himmelberg, or was it Briggs?
I think it might have been.
It was Himmelberg. Just squeezed it between his knee and the goal post.
Positive play there. The goal umpire could have reviewed that one too, so it's good to see that we didn't go to the review.
And it can be a positive finish for the Saints if they can win the quarter here and inflict the Giants.
They're still in this. Couple of 4 goals with 8 minutes, plenty of time.
Giants haven't lost a quarter yet, but currently 2-2 for the Saints, 1-2 for the Giants. Here they come again, pumping it long. Who's on the end of it? And it's against Membering.
Just got caught behind there. That's good defending by Harry Himmelberg.
Oh, it's a risky kick to Buckley. Caminiti bearing down. Goes for the safety, the boundary line. Good tap back into play. Wilson, cool head. Young head, rather, I should say, on young shoulders. Coming back. And they reload and go again. Windhager involved. Shanking the kick. Himmelberg hacks it out of there. Green. Does he try and get around Wilkie? No, he skies it up and under. Daniels camped at the drop. Spoil was from Battle. Wanganeen-Milera brings it back inboard. Bonner, the diving, slips catch.
Got to give it back to him.
Doesn't. Instead goes straight down the corridor to Battle, to Ross. Ross inside 50. Awkward little half volley for Filippo there. Where? Fighting, scrapping, now getting a sniff is Higgins, and he just needs a sniff, does Jack. He doesn't need much opportunity at all.
He said ugly goals, and that's what it takes sometimes, is that their use inside 50 has been really poor today. The way they've kicked their ball, gone at 44% inside forward 50, but Toby Grendelson hurt himself there too, but you just got to make the most of your opportunities.
Well, right now, the Giants are almost have stopped, and the game's on. They've got a couple of really good players off the ground. Who knows what could happen in 5 minutes?
Kicked the last 3.
Yep.
The Saints, Jared.
I mean, there's just a really sneaky chance here with the Giants basically putting the cue in the rack. They're just slowing the game down, just trying to kill the clock. They've got a couple of seriously good players off the ground. They just need 5 minutes here now, the Saints. Get another goal, get some scoreboard pressure on, and anything could happen.
Big clearance, and Marshall wins it for the Saints. Iden in the pink boots, comes back the other way. Battle needs to get it out of there. The umpire will save him the problem.
Well, the Giants have come to a grinding halt, but their coach Adam Kingsley hasn't. He's pacing up and down. He is screaming, forcing his boys to keep going. He said, there's still time. We need to play this out.
Big fist from Briggs. Windhager. Hill. Great game. By hand to Ross. Can they produce something from the wing? Back to Seb Ross. Here's the important ball. Into the pocket. Max King, he's off with a knee issue. Fisted across the line.
They've got to go from stoppage, from forward 50 stoppage only a couple of minutes ago. It was Garcia that was on the move and created that sort of instability there. So this is the way you just take a risk. You might just shoot forward.
Want a bit of Jack Higgins magic.
Brad Hill's on his own.
Snapped out of the pack, but wild. Out in the full.
Now you have to switch to defence. Have to try and turn over. Maybe just take that one little risky step forward to just get a hand in. Got to force the Giants to kick it long.
In the first minute of this quarter, the Giants led by 35 points. Biggest lead of the afternoon.
Stand.
Saints have cut the margin back to 17 points.
This is where the Saints are just dropping off at the moment. They're allowing the Giants to just chip this around. It's all time off the clock, but it's also energy.
Happy to play the stop-start game. Iden gives it back to Whitfield.
And you just saw how Whitfield got that. He had the vision from behind. He went round to the left, and then just no one came with him, so he went over to the right and killed off 20 seconds.
And disposal number 33, more touches of the Sherrin than any other player out there today, Lockie Whitfield. They need to turn over the Saints.
Love that positioning from Brent Daniels there. Just lateral to the contest. He's there for the protection so the Saints can't bring it there, but also as an avenue out for the Giants.
Battle and Briggs, 0-0. Now on all four and desperate. Ross, Higgins, stolen almost by Kelly. Ricochets back to Hill. Slapped down volleyball style by Thomas. Peatling's there. Started as the sub. And backing Bedford. Eyes on the ball. He could hear the footsteps coming. He did well.
Just little things like if you're going to hoik it forward there from Brad Hill, don't hoik it directly at the goals. Hoik it to the outside.
Bedford. Quick hands. Now here's Wanganeen-Milera. He can take off the give and go. Oh, they couldn't execute it. The handball was astray. And it might lead to a turnover here, which could hurt the Giants. Callahan. Who's there? Cadman.
Yeah, you're on the money. The execution for the handball release to Wanganeen-Milera.
It's fundamental.
Sees the ball heading into the forward 50. Your best kick got the ball in his hands. It's an opportunity.
Giants looking to finish the game. Toby to finish the game, puts it up high. On behind.
Mark that too on the line. Gosh, what a hit out from Briggs.
Kick in has gone straight to Kelly. Good to see him back out there. We heard Dale tell us earlier he's getting his ribs checked. They've already got Cornelio off, getting his knee assessed. Didn't look good, and Sam Taylor's in hospital after a head collision.
He's dominated the ruck in this last quarter. He's had 5 hit-outs to advantage, 7 hit-outs in total.
Kelly gave it to Thomas. Big launch.
I didn't want it from Jesse.
He's kicked a couple this afternoon. He wants some more. Handballs into space. Look at the Callahan with the brute force. Scraps zinging around in there. Good handball by Owens to Hill, to Steele, to Windhager. Wants to cut it back inboard, out in front of the running ruckman, and he's going to keep going here, Marshall. Marshall, who's in front? Wilson. He's a speed demon. He doesn't need his speed. End to end, and it might just about be game back on.
You just got to think the Giants sort of broke down there. The Saints sort of wheeled their way through, but the Giants' defence broke down. How you don't have someone out the back and you can have Darcy Wilson running into open goal by himself. And we know that his work rate won't drop through the whole way of the game because he's a Saints' best runner. A really smart bit of play, though, by ruckman there, just to look off the line a little bit and understand that there could potentially be someone on that far side of the ground.
Great transition this time from the Saints, and that's that kick you talked about, Jack. Just laid it off in the path. He'd run a hell of a long way to become the extra man behind the ball, and it's paid dividends.
You get your best guys in the middle here, or the players that you trust the most. You've got young Garcia in there. Love this. Get him in there.
Last forward of the Saints. They're within 2 kicks. 3:21 on the clock. Can they try and pinch something here, St Kilda? Big clearance coming up. Battle. Falls to Garcia. The debutant sends it forward. Marking contest. Giants at ground level. He's given something, Garcia, since he's come on the ground. Now the Giants off half back, just trying to hang in there now. Dominated the game. Almost run out of puff.
Gee, that mark taken by St Kilda in the square. Scoreboard pressure enormous.
They're all big moments now. They're all just these critical ones. Even Connor there not to give up that ball. You can see Adam Kingsley yelling, keep it in tight.
Under 3 on the clock. In the hands of the skillful Wanganeen-Milera. On the chest, gets away though. Driving ball forward again. It's Wilson to the square. Chance, St Kilda goal! Caminiti, and they're within a kick. The Saints have come from nowhere. Game on in Manuka.
We asked for risk, so Wanganeen runs off his man in a stoppage there. Tries to hit this small kick here, but Wilson steps inside, involved in the last goal. Just grind one out, find one out with a bit of there. Caminiti kicks a goal, and this is game right on here.
Well, we talk about centre clearances. You reckon it's not important this time round. Big Briggs has been dominating the ruck in this term. He's had all the advantages. Needs another one.
Marshall's just had a bit of a rest forward as well, because we've seen Owens in the ruck for the last sort of 5 minutes, so he comes in fresh.
They have not led at any stage in this contest. One straight kick in it, it bounces off the head of Marshall. Marshall then with the soccer kick. Straight to Kelly.
So what do the Giants do here now? They've been chipping it around, taking time off the clock, but...
Can they keep that going, Jack?
I think you've got to get it further forward and use your part of the ground.
They go to their man in Toby. Toby with the smother. Toby ducking, weaving, handballing. Cadman breaks the tackle. He's a left footer. Does he go for home? It's not going to get the distance. It's off hands. It is a very important point. News from the Giants' rooms that Stephen Cornelio's been cleared of an ACL.
Wow.
It's all happening here at the moment, Howie.
Sinclair straight down the middle. Battle does just that. Flips out the hill. Saints best. They just push the ball forward. Another opportunity for St Kilda driving towards the attack and 50 this man out. It comes to the young man Wilson, centering ball. Good spoil late on Higgins, arriving late with Ash, and it was a monumental effort to get a fist in. Now Green going back to help out. Gee, that was a good spoil.
Could have been a game saver, Howie. It was an absolute ripper. The kick looked good.
Cadman drives it forward. The Giants hanging on, hanging in. Steele, can he lift his team? Another opportunity for Steele, does so, picks it up, takes a bounce. Here they come against St Kilda, driving it down the outer wing. Another big marking contest. Ash is there again. They push it forward. Opportunity for Sinclair, good user. Goes inside, too much on it, no! Caminiti floats back.
Needs to get up and take it nice and quick.
Just sticky hands from the man that kicked the last. This to make it 6 in a row for St Kilda. Time and again we've seen these missed today. Clock continues to tick. Caminiti to bring it to within 1 point. Caminiti's got the last 2. St Kilda have got the last 6. 1 point game. 41 seconds on the clock.
And the coach will be getting most of the players behind the ball on this occasion. They just want a centre clearance. They only need to win possession out of the centre, and it's over. So you only need one person forward of the ball. You can empty everybody else. As soon as the ball is bounced, your wingmen go into defence. Your half-forward flankers go down to your wing. You try and get everybody back as soon as that ball is bounced.
Geez, that was a big moment there by Sinclair.
Good mark, Jack.
Oh, sticky Jukes. They had another one free in the goal square as well. So I don't know what the Giants do behind the ball, but you can see the Saints have dragged everyone deep forward.
Got to get the clearance, the Saints. Get one quick kick. Let's give themselves a chance in a marking contest.
They have kicked
on the fly. Come on.
the last 6 goals, St Kilda. They have not led at any stage in this match. Battle bangs it forward. Can they get it? Peatling started as a sub. He came on early when their warrior down back, Sam Taylor, was taken to hospital after a sickening head clash. And they're going to try and hold on to it here. Ash. Will eat up all the seconds he possibly can. What an intriguing contest. It was almost highway robbery. It was almost the great steal. But their perfect record remains intact. It's the Giants 5 from 5. They survive a Giant scare in the nation's capital. They came from behind last week, the Saints, to get over the line against the Tigers by 7. They fell just short this afternoon. 11-14-80, St Kilda 12-7-79 in front of 12,448. It was a sellout in Canberra. Let's get down to Nick Del Santo.
Well, Lockie, they got a little bit more interesting than we probably expected at 3/4 time. How'd you handle those final moments?
Yeah, like, credit to the Saints. They just got on the downhill and kept going. We were under the pump hard. I don't know whether it was the sun or something, but we felt a bit zapped today, I reckon, especially in that last quarter. To be honest, I actually thought it was 80 apiece, so I thought we tied them in the end. But look, we'll take the win. It's not great stuff, but happy with the win.
How do you assess the game? Clearly controlled a lot of the game, and then probably for 30 minutes it was all about the Saints, but how do you quickly assess that?
Yeah, look, I think we're still not really getting our defence right at the moment. Our offence is pretty good. And, yeah, we were able to control it in patches, especially through the second and third quarter. But, yeah, they moved the ball hard. They ran hard in that last quarter, so credit to them. They really came back well.
Did you find you were impacted individually as a collective with a couple of big injuries and hopefully not too significant?
Yeah, look, Slammer's obviously a key player for us down back, so it's pretty sad to see that. It's a bit of a scary one, to be honest. And then Cogs with a knee, Brigard's a bit sore on the shoulder. So, yeah, next man in, that's the mentality, but obviously hoping the best for those boys.
It's been a great performance. It's been a tough day, so we hope everything goes all right in the recovery area. But you win again, so well done.
Yeah, thanks, Dale. Appreciate it, mate. Cheers.
Nick and Lockie, the last 6 goals they gave up the Giants. But Jared, they just find a way somehow.
They do. These Giants have been superb, but they did just chip the ball around. I think psychologically they were just there to play our time. And the Saints took a couple of risks. Brad Hill was superb in that last quarter. Rowan Marshall was absolutely superb along with Jack Steele. Gave themselves a chance. They played some really poor footy at times today, the Saints, but they'd be proud, and I think the supporters would be proud that they just kept hanging in there and gave themselves a chance for an unlikely victory.
Well, Jack Revolt, never mind the aliens. The gods were looking down on them today. It was the Giants' steal, and this was the moment. Peatling.
It was. They got their opportunity. Jack Steele was sort of driving through here, and they found battle to snap this one forward. This is the one where you just got to be sort of on your man, I reckon. The Sinclair had just kicked the last goal, but Peatling, a huge mark at the most crucial point in the game. After we've had a few players being battered and bruised today, and obviously some serious injuries, to run back with the flight there as a young player, and you can see what it means to the Giants to win. Now they win by 1 point, but they win. That's the important thing there. As well. So great to see a young man stand up in a really important part and a really important time of the game.
Yeah, the Saints will look at their positioning, probably a little bit too deep, couldn't get anyone to that hat kick. But the biggest win outside of the 4 points was the news on Stephen Keneally. I would have given you 100 to 1 in playing against this season. And to be cleared of an ACL is an incredible story for the Giants.
And fingers obviously crossed for Sam Taylor. It was a nasty head knock. It was accidental, involving Jack Steele, the captain, in the first quarter. Almost 10 minutes pause in play. All our fingers are crossed for him and that he is okay.
The Giants go 5 and zip. They are breaking records every week as far as the club's history, Jack. It's the first time they've won the first 5 games of the season by 1 point, but 5 from 5.
Plenty to work on them. They've beaten in clearance today by the Saints by +4. And inside 50s as well. St Kilda have had more inside 50s, but their ability to turn the ball over, even without Sam Taylor, and he's clearly their most critical player in terms of turning the ball over in the air. They were +16 turnovers today, the Giants, so some room for improvement there from the Saints. But when they got it up and going, the Saints looked good from turnovers, scored 30 points in the last quarter from that. So certainly for both sides, they come away, one side comes away with the points, obviously, but I don't think either of these sides would be wrapped with the way they played today.
So the Giants led by 19 points after kicking the first 3 goals of the contest, 19 at quarter time, 19 at half time, 29 at 3/4 time. Saints kicked the last 6 goals of the game, and they fell over the line, the Giants, by 1 point. Thank you very much to Howie, to Jack Revolt, to Jared Healy, to Nick Del Santo on the boundary. They're undefeated, and now we're going to the Blues.